Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 153 of the Subjective Perspective Show. Honored this Halloween special 2021 to guest feature one of the greatest fighters coming out of Central California. Somebody who I'm really looking forward to getting to know a bit more throughout this interview process. An individual who irrefutably makes his hometown of Jackson, California proud. Our guest feature for episode 153 is Adam Avitia. And we're going to be graced by his presence in about 8 minutes or so. Until then, it is Halloween coming this weekend, and I wanted to get into one of our giveaways. So if I could grab one of these cool satchels we have of pins, the Subjective Perspective, you got beawoke.com right in the middle with a cool little BAE backdrop sort of emerging through. Also, a whole bunch of stickers. One, the Subjective Perspective, and some cool hologram ones also. Pretty neat. Also, maybe not hologram, but a really cool covering to it. And we have a whole bunch of satchels here of really cool keychains. So if you would be interested in receiving one, all you'll have to do is please give a comment right there in the comments section. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Also, feel free to give a like. I suppose that's pretty cool. Nowadays, hey, I know they're sort of going out of style, perhaps, though feel free to give it a like also. And share this via Spotify, Apple, I should say iTunes, whichever it's referred to now, and Apple Podcasts, I should say, along with all of the major sites that we're on, as well as our main site, beawoke.com. That's BEAWOKE.com. Created that many years back, and it's something that we did in order to hopefully enlighten people's lives with doses of inspiration that you could take with you throughout your journeys. That's why we do what we do here on the Subjective Perspective Show. Episode 153. We've been doing this, goodness, 8 years plus now. So I foresee this continuing as we have a beautiful time with our guests. And on October 29th, 2021, we are ecstatic to feature Adam Avitia, who is an MMA fighter coming out of Central California, just a bit north and inland of Stockton, where you may know a couple good fighters who come out of that region. The Diaz brothers, big fans of them here, as well as pretty much all fighters that we watch. The majority of fighters have such a respect for the work ethic. In order to be in that great a physical shape, in order to really connect with the mind and the body, being able to bring those together so you are in top condition, that's something that is really admirable. And at 43 years young in my life that I am so lucky to be living, one that I forget who it was, though there was a great quote I heard it once said, maybe it may have been Godin, I forget who was, but it was stated, create a life that you never want to try to escape from. And that's something that we have worked on here in our home and what we do in our lives. Create a life that we truly enjoy. Now listen, there's ups and downs throughout life, so don't let anybody ever pull the wool over your eyes and say that life is just perfect. It's all about being able to continue carrying on, to continue along the trajectory of believing in yourself, believing in your vision, not letting anybody in terms of fighting that we'll be talking about with Adam today. Don't let anybody knock it out of you. Okay. I want you to always remember that you have incredible potential within you. The energy in you, once it's released, to imagine what you can accomplish when just one person believes in you is extraordinary. When you believe in yourself, that becomes the basis of others perhaps seeing some of that greatness in you as well. So I want you to all remember that truth. Believe in yourself, believe in your vision. And most of all, as I take a sip of my sparkling water here, most of all, be good to yourselves. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned in my life, regardless of the importance of the foods I take in, the types of foods that I take in, as well as a bit of nowadays trying to incorporate exercise into my lifestyle, which years back I did, though took about a decade break working on doctoral work and things that were very time consuming. So now, as you all know, I had earned a doctorate and took many years to get there. My work experience really starts on the back of carpet trucks in Long Island, New York. My father's carpet trucks out there, his one van, I should say, and going from warehouse early in the AM all throughout the Long Island, New York area. Sometimes we get out more so towards the city-esque area, though it's something that truly had become the base of my work ethic. Watching my father work so hard, and myself also being immersed in hard work at an early age, I really just worked on channeling that energy, that basis for the way I saw myself in terms of what I could accomplish, the relentless work ethic, and worked on earning that degree. But it's something to be noted that there are many incredible individuals, incredibly successful, who do not have degrees. So this was my journey along what I needed to unlock, what doors I needed to unlock. That's why when I talk about that, there are many different avenues of success, of career choice. And that's why I want you all to recognize whatever your path is, you just be the best at it. And it could take you years to figure out what it is that you truly want to be doing. It took me years. So truly enjoy the process. Okay. Enjoy every moment of life. It's not easy, though, with the help of people who we have on our show, their perspectives, we hope that it gives you a dose of inspiration, as I mentioned earlier, to take with you along your journeys. And ladies and gentlemen, we are met here by Adam Avitia, episode 153 of the Subjective Perspective Show. And as
Hold on, can you hear me, Nick?
Hey, Adam, I can hear you. I can hear you. No rush.
Let me get you some freaking
Take
video.
your time.
Hold on. How's it going,
no
man?
rush at all. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm recording right now, Adam, just so you know. Yeah, there he is. Adam Avitia. Adam, do I pronounce the last name correctly? Avitia?
Nailed it.
Yes, right
Most
on.
people get that wrong, so thank you.
Listen, I might have asked your good friend once or twice just to make sure I got it right too. Great young man who's one of my students. Just to give a shout out to Harvey out there.
Javier's the man. Javier's the man.
Let me tell you. Adam, I'm really excited about this conversation. This interview
Me too.
we do every 2 months. We've been rocking and rolling with featured guests, and we enjoy what we do. We've been doing it for over 8 years, Adam. And
Wow.
as you saw on the network, we are just grassroots people who believed in the
Yeah.
vision. And we started out years back in another network, Bud and Roach Entertainment in Brooklyn, New York. And the two fellas there actually saw in us the potential of having a podcast. When I say us, my
Sweet.
wife and myself. Big shout out to Lisa TSP always. And that's what started us along our journey. So what I'd like to do, like along this, within this interview, is get a sense of who you are,
Yeah.
not just as the fighter, but sort of holistically who you are as the individual, Adam Avitia.
Yes,
And
sir. Great.
listen, Adam, I want you all to know. I see it says down there on the Zoom, Madison Willix, if I pronounce that correctly.
That is my girlfriend, and I'm
Okay,
actually
cool.
using her laptop.
Big
So
shout out. Right on,
shout out
Madison.
Maddie.
Thank
She'll
you
be
so
listening.
much.
Yeah,
Hey,
she made this happen. So heck yeah.
Adam, I just want to.
I needed help starting the Zoom and everything.
Hey,
so.
that's what I do with my other half. She does all the audio.
Yeah.
5 minutes before I went on, I was like making sure that I do everything correctly. I was like, please, son, double check me. So she was checking it all out. I just want to
Right
triple
on.
check. And, I just want to start out thanking you again,
Thank you,
for
Nick.
your time on this Friday afternoon, October 29th, 2021. Adam, I start out with all of our featured guests by asking pretty much, I call it a sandwich of ideas, sort of like the bread or the lettuce on each side for either my vegetarians or my vegans or,
Yeah.
or
Protein
bread.
style.
Yeah, whichever which one. Exactly, brother. And so they're sort of, the most basic questions on the
Okay.
outsets of the interview, so the beginning and end. But then we'll get a bit more abstract and go directions that that you feel comfortable with. So something that I pride myself on is I'm not a shock and awe sensationalist. That would not have longevity in my life. I'm too honest for that. Adam, let me tell you, I'm somebody who is truly interested in what makes people do what they do and what is their behavior. What inspires them? How do they stay positive? So we'll get into some interesting ideas that I already have laid out as questions. So if I could please begin this interview formally, Adam, with the first question that I ask everybody. Where were you born and raised?
Stockton, California, right where I'm doing this interview right now, boss.
Yeah, Stockton, in the house.
California. Oh yeah.
Hey, on the intro, I did a little piece.
Was that a bubbly?
That was a bubbly. That was a bubbly, and I'm not getting paid for endorsements just to put it out there.
You should. You should.
Adam, thank you, brother. I'll tell you why I switched to sparkling water. Check this out; it's crazy. And we're going right back to Stockton. Now, Jackson, are you in Jackson now?
So I've gone back and forth. Right, I was born in Stockton, lived in Stockton for about 10 years, and then I moved to Jackson until I was maybe 20, and I just recently moved back to Stockton.
Yeah, so 10 and 10. Yeah, that's right.
10 and 10,
so now I go back to S-Town, and I mentioned the incredible fighters, the Diaz brothers from Stockton.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to meet them or train with them.
I've ran into them about twice. Never gotten to train with them, but I've ran into them a couple times. Right. I think everybody from Stockton has.
That's so cool. Oh yeah, hey. Man, I'll just start walking around those streets one day and just try to hope to bump into Nick and Nate. Such respect for them. But, just to bring it back to, for a hot second, I mentioned the sparkling water. 2 years ago, nearly, I had so much sugar intake. Adam, it was crazy. I began losing my eyesight. So for everybody listening out there, don't know if I've ever mentioned this live on air, but the reason I transitioned to sparkling waters, it was December 27th, 2019. at our family's place in New York. Grew up just outside of that big city in New York, on the South Shore of Long Island.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh goodness gracious, Chris Weidman, the UFC fighters from
Yeah.
that area.
The
So
185er. Yep.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
exactly. Matt Serra from Long
Matt
Island.
Serra, Ray
Matt
Longo,
Patera.
all those
Oh
guys.
yeah, exactly.
Oh
You
yeah.
know him well. Yes, yes, and you know all of it much more than I do. So I don't want to fake
No,
anybody out. That I
no,
know a
that
whole
was
lot,
that was
but
good. I knew.
I enjoy it. So was at our family's place. Had a lot of juices, and I used to drink a lot of iced teas and lemonades.
Oh yeah.
I so much for so many years, Adam, that on that date I started realizing I couldn't see my text messages. Within a week
Wow.
after that, I could barely see like the world around me. Like another week
Wow.
or so after that, I couldn't see 2 inches in front of my face, Adam.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
absolutely insane. I could see everything. I'm back to normal now, but I want everyone to know what happened. I took in so much sugars. I
Hmm.
totally changed my diet. So we're going to get into health aspects a little later. As you can see,
Sweet. That works.
I'm sort of laying that foundations for everybody of the direction I want to go with this interview a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll go a couple directions.
Yeah.
And I right away took a test. My mom was like, take one of those blood sugar tests, and
Oh
I
yeah.
did
Yeah. Yeah.
the finger prick, and it said HI. And I don't think it was saying hello. It was just meaning high, like it was way high off the Richter
Way
scale.
high. Yeah.
So we got it down, like literally, it was like threes or fours it registered. Finally, when we got it to a number,
Hmm.
then I got it down to the twos. And for everybody listening in or watching this episode here on the video component, 90 is normal. Maybe 100-ish, sort of around there. I'm
Okay.
not a medical expert, but somewhere around that
Hmm.
region or so. So I'm raised still high. Get back to California, switch my whole diet up, just
Yeah.
waters, sparkling waters, and I cut out all carbs for like a year, just
Oh wow. Yeah.
salads. And because I learned that carbs break down to sugars.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so these are things that I
Exactly.
learned the hard way. So if that inspires anybody, I want you to check this out. The reason that I was ignorant to it is I just thought that, hey, you know what? I wasn't taking in Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever
Hmm.
competitor sodas out there.
Yeah.
I was taking some juice. I would see the labels, all natural. I was like, oh, I'm good with
Oh
this.
yeah. That's how they get you.
That's Adam. They got me like heavy. So that's where we'll go a little more later and talk a bit more about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But that's why I'm going to take another sip of my sparkling water really quickly.
Yeah. That's right on. So
I start chit chatting. But
how long
Stockton,
did it take
sorry, go
for
for it.
how long? Sorry. Yeah. How long did it take for your eyesight to get back to say normal or baseline?
Great
Was it like pretty
question.
drastically quick or
Oh, it took months actually.
really?
I work at colleges, and I was in front of classes with super thick glasses I got from the dollar store,
Okay.
because those I found, my wife and I went to the Dollar Tree and got a couple of those
Wow.
glasses that hang out there. It's like 2.75 or something like that. And then
Something
with them
crazy.
on, I could see at least like a little distance.
Hmm.
So I was going to get an appointment for the eye doctor, but I was I was waiting, I think, on a paycheck at that point. Actually, that's what the
Okay. Yeah.
situation was. I think I was waiting on the monetary aspect.
Hmm.
So what I ended up doing was utilizing, to start out my semester back in 2000 and gosh, spring 2020, spring, because
Okay.
by March everybody's on Zoom because of what's happened with the
Everything crazy.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I had about a month and a half. So actually, now that I think about it, Adam, I was in class until the pandemic. Then I was on Zoom, so I was still wearing the
Uh,
glasses outside of class. So when I went back recently, about a year and a half later
yeah. Yeah.
now I'm back to my eyesight's back to normal, but it took like about 2-3 months to get
That's
my, I'd say two or
amazing.
3 months. Oh, Adam. Oh, goodness gracious. I've had different things happen. I've had
Yeah.
Bell's palsy, where I had the left side of my face in 2007 paralyzed. So
Wow.
yeah, again, they don't really know what causes that. That may be stress related. I was dealing with a whole lot of stress, I
All
think,
those college
which
kids,
is I,
Javier.
I was just life, I think, in general, and I was
Yeah.
holding it in, and that's why I always talk to everybody about expressing yourself through the arts, whatever medium, release those
Yeah.
energies, because the doctor said that may be one thing that attributed to why I had contracted that. That took about 2 3 months to get
Hmm.
my face back. So thank goodness.
Wow.
I
Thank
think I'm
goodness.
very,
Yeah.
very blessed, very lucky, blessed for this. Adam, back to
Yes, sir.
Stockton. I apologize, but we're going to go
No
back into
worries.
all of these ideas. As you can see, I'm looking forward to hearing your perspective on all of this,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because that's why you're here, to hear what you have to say about. I have a whole lot of ideas to get into, but what's Stockton like for people listening around the world? Stockton, California. What is that like, and where is that in California relative to Los Angeles, let's say, as many people would hear that, or San Francisco?
Okay. Let's say we'll cover that first. I would say Stockton is about mid northern California. Man, maybe about an hour away from Sacramento, 2 hours east of San Francisco, and 5 hours north of LA, 6 hours north of LA. Depends how you drive, you know. Uh, but Stockton's great. I think Stockton gets a big rap because you see it on like 0 through 50 most dangerous cities in the United States, you know. But truthfully, it's not really the case. I mean, it is the case, but it's more pockets of Stockton than it is general, like, huge areas. So it's not like you're going to be in one side of town and it's particularly worse than the other side. It's just wrong place, wrong time type of thing. But Stockton's great. It's got, one of the nicest universities in California, UOP.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got some real nice schools. Great city, great food, great people. Yeah, I love Stockton. I grew up in Stockton,
100%.
and yeah, I love Stockton. I
People
grew
are
up here.
great from Stockton. I've
Yeah,
worked with a lot of people from Stockton. I've so many people, and one thing that I really appreciate about the Valley is sort of the down to earth attitude.
yeah.
It's just something I really, really dig.
People are straightforward. People are
Yes,
definitely straightforward here.
yes, and being from the New York area, I'm telling you, Adam, it's so reminiscent of people I grew up with. I'm like, oh, there's like the same attitude.
Great. Oh, that's
It
great.
really is. But I'm just curious. Now, I was introing you, mentioned that you're a fighter,
Yeah.
and MMA. For those listening in, I know there's lots of different techniques out there, but
Hmm.
this is mixed martial arts, and
Yes.
you're an up and coming fighter, somebody who, when I was shown what you were doing, I was blown away. I was like, I need him on our show. I
Right
need
on.
him on the show. That's what I said to, going back to our mutual friend, my student Javier. I said,
Yeah.
that's somebody who I really want to talk to. And it's because I saw in you, Adam, greatness. I was like, this person's going to be doing massive things, already doing huge things. Whatever avenue you take, I'll tell you right now, you stick with fighting, I think you have a big career. That's me personally.
Yeah.
I'm watching you on social media. All right, we're checking you out over here on our end. Over now, we're in the Merced region. So for
Okay.
everybody,
Got it. Got it. Got it.
so we're just down that 99, not too far,
Not too
just
far.
outside of Yosemite. We like to say, as I have on our
I was
wall.
just in Yosemite. Oh, I just saw
Sure.
that. I was just in Yosemite Wednesday.
I saw on social media.
Yeah.
Were you hiking or were you climbing? What were you doing?
So I hike and I climb. I don't climb outdoors yet, but I do want to. But I was hiking. I've done a couple hikes now in Yosemite. And I went there once when I was younger, a kid, big person in my life, Dan Epperson at the time when I first moved to, was my pastor when I first moved to Jackson,
Big
or
shout
Ione
out.
actually. Big
Shout
shout out,
out.
Dan Epperson. Yeah, it took me to Yosemite, kind of showed me that side of life. Cause like I said, I was from Stockton, and Stockton's not Yosemite by any means.
more of the working streets.
Working
the
street city,
yeah, it's that
urban.
city,
Yeah.
that urban life, that
Yeah.
urban-esque landscape. And that's what that when I refer to the working streets, it's you got a lot of people out there hustling, working to make
Hustling.
that money to, make it happen. And that's what that's so reminiscent of
Yeah.
where I grew up, Adam. That's why it's that it's that hunger that I've
Mhm.
seen in people from the entire of California's got it everywhere, but
Yeah.
now I've been in the valley for a couple of years, and it's something that I love about that.
Yeah.
Now, so being in Stockton,
Mhm.
fighting is something that how does this start in your life?
My family has always been, or I have people in my family that have always been martial artists as long as I've been alive. Both my grandparents were real big martial artists. I got a couple uncles that are, and martial artists in the sense that they didn't do MMA, but like black belt in Taekwondo, black belt in karate. One of them used to
Oh,
do
wow.
karate fights here in Stockton at like the Bob Hope Theater, and
Wow, this is
would
so
have his name
cool.
on the radio and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
I got into karate. I wasn't that great at sports, truthfully. My older brother. He's like the real coordinated one, and can throw a baseball, right at the target. And that's not so much me. Like I could put football pads on and run into you, and I could wrestle. So like I got into karate, and I was actually pretty good at that. So that was like, oh, okay, I'm stick with this, and I already had it introduced through all the family and everything, and grew up watching Bruce Lee movies and all that stuff, and
The
yeah,
best. The
I'd say I
best.
really got into it. The best, yeah. I really got into it through karate and just martial arts in general. Like I'm more of a martial artist than anything, absolutely, and I always will be.
And Adam, it's I apologize about my ignorance to this question. I now I was in 12, well, no, 12 years young, and I
Okay,
was in Taekwondo.
heck yeah.
Taekwondo, that is karate, or is karate something different than Taekwondo? And I apologize about my ignorance to this. I was in for about a year and a half. I was a first degree yellow belt, I believe I was.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
So I was
Kicking
young.
everybody, kicking everybody all over the place.
I was, it was so cool. I just was so young, and it just
Yeah,
didn't stick with me, but it's something I always loved. But
yeah.
I apologize. Is that karate Taekwondo? Is that the same thing?
The only or the difference in the disciplines is one's more like Taekwondo is more leg heavy, more kick heavy, and it's a Korean style. Karate is a Japanese style, and it's more of a like a strong punching and kicking style, right? Strong blocks, strong punching, kicking. Taekwondo is all about speed and hard kicks and some power blocks and stuff like that as well, but a little more finesse, I would say.
Okay, so have two different distinct styles. So
Yeah,
Taekwondo is just Taekwondo, karate is just karate.
yeah, pretty much. I would say that. Yeah,
Thank you for schooling me on that. There's gonna be a couple things you're gonna school me on today. No, that's super cool.
heck
So
yeah.
okay, so now starts out with karate.
That's
Okay,
how
so
karate.
how old are you with karate?
Uh, I was doing like punches and kicks and blocks and all that, 8, 10 years old with my
Okay.
grandpa and with my uncle
Uh,
and stuff. But I got into karate at an actual school in Jackson. When I was 12, I really got into it with Coach Satumi West in Jackson under Rodney Peoples. And
Big
Rodney
shout
Peoples,
out.
big shout out. Rodney Peoples kind of changed my life with the karate and just being a mentor and everything. And I got to travel through martial arts. We could definitely get into that. Or through karate, I got to
Would love
travel
to.
and just showed me a whole nother side of life that, man, some experiences I don't know if I ever would have got if it wasn't for karate.
Well, let's go down that road for a second, or
Yep.
as long as we want.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
traveling a bit. So are you about 10 years old when you're meeting? Is it Coach Peoples?
Yeah, Sensei Peoples,
Sensei Peoples.
Sensei Peoples. Yeah.
And when you meet Sensei Peoples and you're traveling, how old are you about that point? And where are you traveling to?
So by the time we got traveling around, I was 16 the first time I got to travel for karate, and the organization that my karate is connected with is the AKJU, and basically they've been doing this for 22 years now, I believe. They
Wow.
started doing it about 22 years ago, and people from all over. Like we got schools in Ohio. It's really a out Midwest or Mid East thing. But every year they try to make an Irish Cup. It's called, the trip's called an Irish Cup, and the first week is somewhere in Europe, and then the second week is in Ireland always, right?
Wow,
So the
that's crazy.
first, yeah, it's sweet. Oh, first time I got to go was 2016, and I went to Poland and Ireland.
Wow.
And part of that was when I was in Poland, I got to go do the Auschwitz tour, actually.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that just, the perspective that put, on me at such a young age, especially, and just like getting to experience and see, firsthand those kind of things, and just
Yeah.
a whole huge part of history, major part of history was a
Oh,
big deal for me. Like I'll never forget that.
Adam, what was it like there? At the was it a museum? It was where were you at?
So the tour started, we met at the bus, and then it was like a 3 hour, 2 hour train ride to you got to go to two of the I forget what you would call them, the two of the like the sites that they actually had people at,
The camps they
Yes,
had them
yeah,
at?
there we go. My bad. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Two of the
Yeah.
camps that the stuff was actually going down at, man, and like I saw it all, saw it
Concentration
all.
camps. Yeah.
Concentration camps, and I got to see the gas chambers, got to see, the holding grounds, walk through the science labs and stuff. It was just
It's
really like the
insane.
feeling is so insane and so heavy, and so like palpable, like you
Yeah.
could feel it in the air when you were there, like you really could 100%.
And we're going back to, the time of Adolf Hitler, one of the most
Insane.
diabolical people
Yeah,
that we could think back to
one of the most
in
brutal
human
dictators. Yeah,
history.
yeah, yeah.
And millions upon millions of innocent people. Obviously, the Jewish population.
Yeah.
I mean, are going to be the focal point of the millions upon millions of people who had lost their life. But this went extended across borders to people that were sympathizers, and
Yeah.
so it's something that just to put out there, important everybody to know our history. Not
Very
knowing our
important.
history, goodness gracious, people say it could be repeated. So
Yep.
that's why I just got to keep putting out there. Go read your history. Don't just take one YouTube video to be the end all be all truth.
Uh-uh.
Get out there and
Read
find some
some books,
sources.
man, or
Check
go
some old
experience some
school
things.
books, Adam. Old
Yeah.
school. We're bringing this back to you now. I
Read
was
some books.
oh goodness gracious, I talk about that. But you know, so thank you for talking a bit about what you had seen there, and that's
Yeah, of
something
course.
that everybody listening in, I think that's something that's important for everybody to remember, that we're in a world where this isn't so far removed. This is less than 100 years ago we're talking
Less
about.
than That's a
It's
lifetime. That's one
crazy.
lifetime,
That's one
like
lifetime. People
it's
still alive
yeah,
that were in those concentration camps.
yeah,
And, you know, that's why I say, we're blessed to be where we are, whatever anybody's,
absolutely.
feeling of, religion is, or
Yeah,
atheism, or agnosticism, being agnostic, whatever it is, whatever
yeah.
your belief is, just it's that feeling of luck, and just, just knowing how lucky we are.
Very
Um,
fortunate. Very
very
fortunate.
fortunate.
Yeah,
So you're in Poland. You see a whole lot there.
whole
2016.
lot there.
How old are you right now?
21. I'm 21 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, I tell you, would have got you for about 28, probably,
Oh
maybe,
wow.
probably 28, upper 20s. So 21. It's wisdom that emanates from you, Adam. That's why.
Thank you.
And, so you're 5 years ago, so now you're 16, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
and you
16.
go over from Poland to Ireland.
Hmm.
Now, so Poland, just to finalize there, did you see anything else in Poland?
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know what a lot of people think about Poland, but I kind of thought Poland was, old European, just an old European country, basically. And where we stayed was the hotel was in Warsaw, Poland. Warsaw, Poland, actually, I think it got kind of destroyed a little bit during the war, World War II. So
Yes.
these days, it's a super nice, booming city. I would say like the architecture is, man, like a city like San Francisco. Honestly,
Wow.
4-story malls and all that kind of
Wow.
stuff. Starbucks on every corner. Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
Really cool.
That's
Had a
crazy.
nightlife. Yeah.
Warsaw is going to be the hot spot. Everyone's going to hear
Warsaw
this. They're going to be
Poland,
like,
man.
yeah, you got to
Yeah.
go check out Warsaw right now.
It was
What's
great.
it,
It was
what's
really
it
great,
like with,
honestly.
what's it like with, just sort of bumping into people just like the everyday person? Warsaw, Poland. What's that like now? Or a couple of years back?
The people were interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie here. The people were very interesting. Very stoic people, like not high on emotions or nothing. But everybody there seemed pretty smart. Like they all spoke English. I think anywhere you go though, people speak English. But the people did seem smart, real smart. They were nice, but like I said, not a lot of emotion at all. Pretty stoic people. Pretty stoic people.
Okay. And now for everybody listening in, maybe in Poland, we have people check us out from Poland. That's just something, just a perspective on it and showing really the beauty of your region and the
Beauty, yeah.
uniqueness. And
Oh yeah.
now, Adam, this also, speaks to the history you're taking in. So 16 years young, how's your perspective changing? Like what happens during you like seeing these new? I've never been there. I have no idea what
Yeah.
it's like. What happens during the young perspective, the younger mind? How
Yeah.
do you sort of grow just from Poland? Then want to go to Ireland.
Yeah. Just from Poland alone, man. Just like understanding that obviously for those people that all the history that we've just talked about is their history and a very real history,
Yes.
for them, especially living there. And like we said, it's a lifetime ago. So it just being fortunate and man, at the time, just being fortunate and understanding, like you said, how lucky, we have it over here and in the United States
Yeah,
and just
how lucky we are. These
yeah,
areas have been war torn. You've had
yeah,
wars there that
absolutely.
really were devastating to regions. So that's why some areas were able to have governments that were able to lift themselves out. America, obviously, one of the superpowers on planet Earth. Post World War II, that's
Absolutely.
really what declares America. Well, Spanish American War, 1898, really gets us into the superpower aspect.
Yeah.
But they see the atomic bomb in 45 in Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and that's what pops everybody. Like, whoa, my goodness, look what America has. Sort of like.
Yeah.
Sort of like 1957, October 4th, Sputnik goes up. Okay, so this is the first satellite that goes up into orbit around planet Earth.
Yep.
Americans see that and realize that the Soviets have the power now to launch rockets outside of the troposphere. I apologize which sphere it is if I'm wrong. And for the Americans to see it, that creates what we call the space race in American in world history, American history. And that's when you start to see the uptick of math and science in schools really make their way. So there was a huge push for math and science stemming from that time period because we were in something called the Cold War. Okay,
yeah.
So and which for everybody listening,
Cold War space race, yeah,
exactly. This is what brings us to sort of where we are today. There's a lot that goes on at that time, so that you got to experience something, Adam, that I would love to go see.
That country, Europe in general, but that country especially, of the ones I've been, so beautiful. Like the city was beautiful, but they also have a big green lush like farm country. That it really is a huge farming country. That's all I saw. Like that whole 3-hour train ride was just green, kind of flat, not a lot of mountains, but green lush farming land. Like, and it looked really nice. Really
right
nice,
on.
yeah.
Right on. And so now Poland. So Poland's the first stop.
Poland's first stop.
Then you get to Ireland.
Oh yeah.
What's going on in Ireland? 2016. Conor McGregor's, I think, pretty big at this point over here.
Smoking people. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on? And how are the flights, first off, going that far? And what's it like when you get to Ireland? And what's it like the whole process for customs?
Oh man, I think the flight from here to Poland. So we stopped in Chicago, and we flew out of Chicago because that's one of the main hubs in the States. If you're going overseas, you're probably going to go to San Fran or Chicago.
Yeah. O'Hare.
Yeah,
I think that's O'Hare.
O'Hare, yeah, exactly where we were out of. Oh man, that first flight I think was 8 or 9 hours. I
Wow.
don't think I slept a minute. I tried to, but I don't think I slept a
Just super
minute the whole
pumped.
time.
Yeah, I know.
Pumped, dude, so excited, and so excited to get there. Then the ride over to Ireland was only, I think, about 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, so real
Oh, right
easy.
on. From
But I
Poland,
still,
about 3 hours or so.
yeah, not
That's
far.
cool.
Yeah,
It always blows my mind how close everything is in Europe. We have
it's literally
America,
it's like the
then
United
obviously we have
States.
Mexico, and we have Canada.
Yeah,
And like going anywhere else, like you got to take some
yeah,
flights. So
yeah.
that's really cool. That's really cool. So okay,
Think you're flying from here to Texas. Like that's literally flying from
right
like
on.
Poland to somewhere else in
Yeah,
Europe. Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Hey, Texas, good place to be too. Really cool state. We'll talk maybe a bit about where you've been throughout America in a bit
Okay.
also. Right now we're international, so we'll say international. I think I forget the TR
International.
first. I'm so bad with that. So, Ireland.
I'll never
How
forget.
is it?
I'll never forget coming in on the plane and looking at the runway, and it was kind of like rainy outside. Green grass, of course, super green, and there was rabbits running free, like on the runway and
Hey,
in the grass. There was rabbits everywhere. I'll never forget that. Like
that's
and I was
awesome.
like, what's up with that? And come to find out, a huge population of rabbits, wild rabbits in Ireland.
Wow.
But we
That's
got there.
fascinating.
Yeah, it was great, and just, oh man, Ireland's one of those places I could go back to once a year and would never get bored of it. Just,
Right on.
yeah,
I think you'll be getting there. I have a good
yeah,
feeling your future is going to take you to some incredible places. You're probably going to have a winter home out in Ireland or maybe a summer home in Ireland. So just know, big things are
yeah.
yet to come, brother.
Oh
But
yeah, thank you.
that's so cool that Ireland is that beautiful. And I got my green microphone here because I knew we were going to talk about that. So I
Best color, best
got my
color.
green going. And Ireland's got a rich history also.
Yeah.
What did you see in Ireland that sort of spoke to you, that inspired you a bit and got you sort of interested in the UK? That would be the
Yeah.
UK.
Ireland was great, man. Aside just from like the pubs and obviously all the parties and the clubs, I'm very attracted to that stuff. I just am, that's me. But just the people is the biggest thing that stands out about Ireland. Like the nicest people you'll ever meet. And my grandpa had told me going to Europe, and I believe it was Ireland for him as well. He said it was one of those places like he couldn't sleep one night that he got there, and it was like 3 a.m, and he was walking around the street and didn't feel like a bit like out of place or like nervous about anything. And I remember I had a
Wow.
similar experience. I was walking around
Wow.
2, 3 in the morning and thinking back on him telling me that, and I was like, yeah, I definitely feel that. And as a 16-year-old, I felt that way.
That's so
Uh,
cool.
was a
And
great
that
was a
was and that
great
was your
place.
grandpa, your grandfather.
Yes, yes.
And your grandfather was a martial artist, and I apologize that it slipped my mind, my memory. What did Grandpa do? Was he a karate? Was he? And I apologize.
Taekwondo,
Right
and
on.
he learned it in Korea, actually.
Wow,
Actually, in Korea, yeah.
that is so cool. Now, is Grandpa from Korea?
He's not, but he was over there. He was in the army, and he was over there. It was after the war, but I think it was
Yes.
at the time Vietnam was going on. But he was in
Wow.
Korea. He was stationed in Korea, and he
Wow.
was the air traffic controller for the army.
Wow.
Yeah, and this
Thank goodness
his
for Grandpa's service, big
heck
time.
yeah, heck yeah. Thank you.
Is and it's something that I'm sure the family's so proud about. The work that he has done and the accomplishments. He learned Taekwondo in Korea, in South Korea.
Yeah,
And this is what, the 60s? This is 1960s.
60s, 60s, 70s, I think. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. So that's
Yeah,
during the Vietnam War.
yeah.
And wow, that, that is so cool. So your grandpa got to tell you about his time. Now, what was Grandpa doing in Ireland?
Oh man, he went on a tour with my grandma there like 10 years ago, and they
Oh,
stayed
right
in
on.
Scotland, Ireland, all over the place. So like
Yeah.
he was real excited for me to go.
Oh,
He
that's
really
awesome.
pushed the trip on me. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Big shout out always to the family, because I know that, and I mentioned in
Always.
the intro, Adam, that it's incredible how far we'll go when one person believes in us.
Hmm.
But when we believe in ourselves, it's incredible how far we could take our lives.
I think
And
that's the most important thing. Yeah.
when we have families that support us also, and as you say, you have a beautiful family, that's something that we just got to give our kudos to. Oh, everybody that's here with us, not with us, here with us, everybody
Yeah.
that set us along that trajectory. Okay, so now Ireland is very cool. That's for a 16-year-old.
Hmm.
Now you're hanging out in Ireland. Are you practicing? Are you going to classes in Ireland? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on with the fighting?
So the tournament is I think we got into Ireland Monday or Tuesday. The second week we were there. The tournament is Friday and Saturday. So we were practicing once we got into Ireland. It was kind of playtime, fun time in Poland. Go explore, go check some stuff out. And we got into Ireland and it got a little more serious. Time to do some practice and get ready for the tournament. And every time I think back on Ireland for both the times that I went, it's the tournaments are the main thing in my mind, and the tournament and the competition over there in Europe. Yeah. Oh man, something else.
How was that? What happened throughout the tournament, and what were you doing? Yeah. You were doing mixed martial arts like cage fighting, and I apologize, or this was karate. Karate.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Yeah. So point fighting, katas, which is like synchronized movements, basically.
Yes.
Think like dance choreography.
I remember I would do a kata. I believe it was in Taekwondo. No, at the end of my belt ceremony, we would have to do, I believe it was a kata, where we would put all of our moves together. Is that what that is, Adam?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool. So, and then that would be part of the graduation to get to the next belt. You'd have to have your kata, and you do a couple of things.
Yeah. Each belt, you got a couple katas you're required to know exactly.
Yes.
And perfect. Yeah.
I love that.
Show efficiency in. Yeah.
I love that. I do like the movements, like I just,
the blocks. Yeah.
It was
that was
beautiful.
A nice outer block right there. I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. That white belt, total white belt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. But
I'm sorry. I took us off. So the tournament itself.
Yeah.
And I apologize if my video is a little grainy right now. I see that grainy on my side. We're looking to get that situated here. I apologize about that.
It looks great.
Sorry about that. Sometimes it could be a connection issue. Hopefully it'll stay as at this point the way it is here.
Yeah,
for everybody listening in, this doesn't affect you. If you're watching this, you can see the video is a little just digitized.
That's all good.
Thank you, Adam, for understanding. And what was it like at those tournaments? I know we were getting into that idea. What was wild about it?
Oh man, traveling with a team is nice because obviously everybody's got your back, right? And like the camaraderie from it is just it's something else. But man, those competitors out there in Ireland and just the European competitors. I say Ireland mainly because that's who I remember most going against. But just fierce, very down to fight, very down to compete, but friendly as you can imagine kind of guys. It's nice when you can talk to somebody before your match and then you guys are going at it like 100% during your match, and then afterwards,
it's wild.
There's no animosity. It's nice. That's the big thing about traditional martial arts that could be a little different than MMA, and that I kind of appreciate a little more is that usually in traditional martial arts there's so much respect.
The respect,
everywhere. The respect is crazy. Yeah.
And people respect, like you mentioned, Bruce Lee. He was somebody that was so quick.
Chuck Norris, yeah.
Chuck Norris.
Another great example, yeah.
So two of like the big, like they were Hollywood actors or Hollywood, individuals also, but not just acting within karate. Yeah. They were really dual, and I forget their styles. I know they had uniques. Do you remember Bruce Lee's style?
So Bruce Lee kind of started in Wing Chun. And then he Wing Chun, and then he kind of started dabbling in some other stuff, and he started his own style called Jeet Kune Do, which is the style of no styles. Yeah,
that's right.
So you basically take whatever works for you and you apply it, and that could be whatever that is, kicks, knees, punches. That may not be strictly Taekwondo, but it's Jeet Kune Do because it's whatever works for you. Yeah.
And I'm just going to double check something here on the back of my computer. Apologize.
No worries. I'm sitting back a little too.
Just making sure my fan is going here. Yes, it is. Okay. So sort of, all right, now it's sort of like a little better. So it's going through like this process right now. Okay, we're good. I apologize about that. Now it's sort of a little less digitized, whatever I just did just now. All right, cool. Yeah, I got Lisa TSP giving me directives here, so I'm just like, all right, this is where I should go with it. So you mentioned, first off, Bruce Lee going different styles.
Yeah.
And just curious, you being somebody how far did you go with karate? What belts or how many years were you in?
I'm a 2nd degree black belt.
Wow.
Yeah, although I'm not super active with it anymore, just because I'm training MMA, most of the time or doing whatever. I still am involved, like very involved with it, and want to continue my ranking process. And
Wow.
when it took me quite a while to get my black belt. It took me like 4 years, I think, to get my first black belt.
Congratulations, Adam.
Thank
First
you.
off, on the double the second degree black belt, which is insane to think about what you can do. Well, I see it in the ring. It's
Thank you.
chess. It's mental chess. It's physicality. It's technique. It's your craft. It's your sportsmanship. You are an amazing fighter. So I'm the first
Thank
person
you.
here to just say that to you. So many people.
I
I know,
appreciate it. Thank you.
again, your friend, your good bud, mentioned that, you are amazing. And that's what got me interested. I was like, oh, I got to check him out, man. Let me see him.
Yeah.
And as you get a little sense of who I am, this is how I am. I'm somebody who's open, has a lot of good energy. Typically, when you see me, I'm not digitized. My face is a little more just like real time. But it's, I'm just a down to earth person, and I see people for who they are. And I saw just within your social media postings, you're an interesting person. And so we'll finish with Ireland, and I have a couple other cool questions to go to. But
Yeah,
so
all right.
with the tournament, how was the tournament in essence? Did you place? And I apologize.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I placed every time I went for sure.
Nice.
Definitely placed.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. And
They
I
had
don't
a
know the
couple different things.
terminology. That's why I apologize, because I don't know if it's placing or if it's earning a point status.
Placing works because we're getting first, second, or third place. So place is perfect. But I always competed in point sparring, which is first to get a shot in or get a kick in, you get a point usually, right? Or if you kick him in the head, you get 2 points. And then I would compete in kata, and I would compete they had something else called randori, which was basically a little combination of karate and jujitsu.
Oh, that's cool.
And so full circle a little bit, you can imagine I competed in that, and that's pretty similar to MMA, right? And I have never been to any kind of karate or martial art tournament that did anything like that. The randori style fighting, which is almost
that's so cool.
MMA style fighting. It was sweet.
Is that what inspired you to get into MMA? Like style?
Partly, because I did great in that. I did.
That's sick.
So yeah. I think I took like first, second, and second, or like maybe first and second. Yeah, a couple
and
different
you're
times.
humble, and you are humble, which is the mark of somebody who is just great. That's how I feel. So just my hat is off to you, Adam. Wow, that is like incredible, brother.
Thank you.
And it's just like really neat because jujitsu also in the mix with the randori style.
Randori, yeah.
Yeah. So do they still do randori? Like, can I YouTube this and check this out?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, cool. I want to see what people are doing with this.
Yeah,
this is neat. This is neat because I sort of like
cool stuff. It looks just like MMA almost, but it's not a cage. It's on a mat.
Yeah.
And they're punching and kicking, and as soon as they hit the ground though, or grapple, it turns into grapple.
Jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Just that. Yeah.
Oh,
you can't hit or nothing when you're on the ground. It's just
totally. Yeah, no elbows and all that. I don't know how you do it, Adam. We'll go there. How the pain threshold that you have to be able to get hit. We'll talk about that. We'll go there.
Okay.
But and I apologize. Oh, I was gonna say, so with the jiu-jitsu, when did you get into that? And are you highly advanced with jiu-jitsu?
So when I first got into MMA, so when I graduated, I kind of started doing MMA like right when I was 18. I was getting ready to graduate, maybe like 3 months or almost out of high school. So I had 3 months left of high school maybe, and I started getting into MMA. Aspen Ladd, who's in the UFC, she's actually like number 3 in the world. Her younger brothers and sisters, so just her family. I did karate with them.
Wow.
And the Ladds, and their dad was always there.
Big shout out to the Ladd family.
The Ladd
incredible
family,
fighters.
very important.
You trained with the Ladd family.
Yes.
That's
And the dad was always like, you need to come do MMA, man. You know, he'd see me,
Really?
and because he was at the MMA gym with Aspen all the time at the same time, so he knew the workings of that as well. And oh man, yeah, I finally ended up going. You know, a couple months with high school left, and started doing it. And the only grappling experience I really had was wrestling from high school. And
Okay, so you were a high school wrestler.
yeah, I wrestled in high school. Yeah,
How was wrestling in high school? Just to backtrack for a hot second,
crazy.
were you like top,
No,
performer?
I was a decently bad wrestler, I'd say. I was strong and athletic, so I could beat a lot of guys on that. But as far as skill went, I wasn't that great. I really wasn't. I when I got into MMA, my grappling enhanced greatly, and I still am and always was a striker more than anything.
Wow. So
I
you
like knocking
enjoy
dudes
punching.
out.
You
Love knocking
enjoy.
people out. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's so cool. Listen, because I love to get into the mindset of people like you, because that takes somebody special to know they have that in them. See,
Yeah.
I'm somebody who, I'm like, okay, to do what you do, I don't even know where I would start with that. That
Yeah.
is like not easy. I do not
Yeah.
see that as something as easy or something that I would excel in. But Adam, like when did you start like knowing you enjoyed not just knocking people out, but actually the process of thinking to yourself, you're going to hit somebody or kick someone and you're going to do damage in the
The
essence, not to
the
want to.
process of combat, right?
Yes, the process of the combat aspect.
I'll get into that, and I'll also get into, like you said, it's not to hurt anybody, because I don't like hurting people. That's for sure. I don't like hurting people. I enjoy competing, and I say I like knocking people out. That's my favorite way to win a fight.
That's the
if we're
terminology. Yes, that is
exactly.
the
Yeah.
terminology to have a knockout. They have the
Yeah.
TKOs. These are the terms.
Exactly. So
But not everybody could do that. Not everybody. Like some people will get the jitters. Somebody will get the nerves. They'll feel like their arms will get jello-y.
spaghetti.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Spaghetti.
I think a lot of it for me stems from, and I've thought about this a lot. I really wanted to be a soldier in high school, and like kind of my whole life, not just in high school, kind of my whole life. I was really into like always watching war movies and war documentaries and YouTube
Hats off
videos.
to our military people
Hats
out
off to
there.
our military. Absolutely.
Everybody protecting our streets and law enforcement. Everybody doing a great job
yeah.
the way. It's not an easy thing to do, and
not at all. One of the most important.
That's the reason I'm able to do what I do. That's the reason I'm able to talk the way I talk, and I want the reason I'm able to express myself as such as you can, as everybody else in this beautiful country can, is because we have people that are defending our constitutional rights to do so. And my hats go off to them and those that protect our streets. And when we have an issue, who are we calling? If someone's breaking into our home, if somebody's attacking us, we're calling those 3 numbers, right? We're going to hit that 911.
911.
Please
come help me out.
Best out here to help us. And so I totally, and I used to be somebody who wanted to get into the military when I was a kid too, Adam. But I think I was a little less physically agile. And I wasn't a wrestler in high school. I would jump on my little skateboard and just skate around. So I think that
takes some different skill.
That got me, and I don't want anybody to be veered away from joining the military because they think it's just physical. It's all mental also. There's so many positions in the military that are engineering positions, radioing, all the good stuff. As your grandpa was doing the air control, I believe you said.
Yeah, air traffic control. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So a lot of it comes from, I wanted to be a soldier, and I always had or still do. I got a deep sense of like wanting to help people, but in the way that I can, and I know I can, because like you said earlier, I understand I have a very special skill set and mindset in the sense that I can do things that other people may not be willing to do. So I really wanted to be a soldier and go fight, mainly fight to protect people, because I know I'm capable of that. I know I'm capable of fighting and doing what needs to be done. And it was always out of wanting to protect other people. And I started training MMA, and I realized like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty dang good at this. So, and I'm young, so I was like, why not give it a shot now? while I can, and
Yes.
fight, do my thing,
Yeah.
make it as far as I can. And
Go. Don't stop going.
oh yeah.
Don't
Oh
stop
yeah.
going. We had Ashley Evans Smith on the show,
I
which
saw, I saw. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
and what a wonderful person. And
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the interview, we were talking, and I was like, how was it for you? Was it all right? And she's like, no, it's great. Don't stop going. Don't keep doing it. And that
Mhm.
just lived in me. I was like, keep going, keep
Heck
doing
yeah.
it. That was like
Heck
episode
yeah.
151. I was like, let's keep rolling with it. And
Heck
just
yeah.
I just relay that to you. Just keep going. Don't stop, Adam. You are that good. But you know what? Life could bring you in many different directions of whatever you want to be doing. Right now, you're 21. You
21.
have so many good years ahead of you. So,
Yeah.
like you said, you can become professional, make this a career. And who knows if you're the next person that's going to be, in your 40s on, whatever we have for television at that point, and you're commentating like how we see Danny Cormier doing, or we see all the
Yeah.
greats
Oh
doing,
yeah.
after your massive career, after
I'm
your
loving it.
massive career.
I'm loving the name drops because you're obviously into it, man. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you for seeing that in me, Adam. I didn't want to look like I was silly. I didn't want to look like I was somebody
No,
that,
yeah, I love it. I noticed it.
oh, I totally dig it.
Heck yeah.
And I was from the beginning with the Ken Shamrocks.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's so many early fighters, and they're totally escaping my memory right now.
Yeah.
But everybody early on, to people right now, I can't believe we're talking about how people are able to. That's why everybody fills arenas, because they want to see it too. They're like, how are
Yeah.
they doing that? How are
Yeah.
these people in the middle of this circle, this octagon, and they're kicking the crud out of each other? And
Yeah.
everybody else there wants to be doing that, but they aren't doing that because they're not at your level. And
Yeah,
this took
absolutely.
years to get there. So just to go back to the mindset of you. So you want to be a soldier, and you realized MMA was something that you were really good at. So you're striking, you're doing punches. When
Yeah.
do you start hitting people punch wise and you realize you can do that good? How old are you about that? Like, did you do that when you were a kid, fights, or was this something like later on during training?
Kind of more. I grew up with like my cousins, like, picking on me, like most
Say
people
no
probably.
more.
My
Say no more.
cousins picking on me and
I
stuff.
know how that
And
is.
yeah. So like I knew I was a little tough from that, but that kind of always made me like want to, give it back a little bit or whatever,
Right on.
like, yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
fearless. You
exactly.
become fearless. You see your
Fearless,
big cousins that are like these big people, and you're like,
yeah.
they're taking me on. I see all these other kids. I'm like, you know what? They're not as big as my
Fearless.
cousin.
That's a very good word for it. Like I would look at other people and just, if I was gonna fight them or compete against them, and I'd be like, I got this. That's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
That's so cool. I want everybody to have that heart, that
Yeah.
fearless heart. Do not live in fear. Take the world on, from what your best potentials are. If you don't know what they are, just try things. Get
Try
out
stuff.
there. Just
Try
give it a
things
shot.
always. Try things. Yeah.
But we're all human. We all have different things that we're, better in than one another, yada yada. There's something that you're going to be in, everyone listening in, that you're better in too, better than me in, and Adam in, and there's stuff that Adam's really good in. Obviously fighting, he's incredible in. And I would say the communication aspect, you are a very, very strong communicator, Adam. Just to put it out there, what a great personality trait. And that's a skill set, I should say, as well. It could go into, sort of, like you said, growing up, certain, the way you were conditioned to be more talkative. If you're around a lot of family, maybe a little more talkative.
Yeah.
It can go
a lot
different
of family.
ways.
A lot of family.
You could be more introverted too, but that's why I say, there's a lot of skills that you have. Those are a couple of them. But so you're wrestling around with the cousins, fighting around. You're like, all right, you know what? I'm not too scared right now. I could do this. Now, MMA starts post Ireland.
So interesting. I went to Ireland the second time when I was 18, and it was, I think, a week or two out of high school, right?
Almost once every year now. You almost once every year.
Almost. And I went with a couple of my buddies, but I hurt my back that time I went.
What happened? What happened?
I stepped off a curb. I swear, like the worst story ever. Like so lame, right? Stepped off the curb, and this is how it happens most of the time. I stepped and like I didn't see the curb coming, and my hips kind of did that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And did you have like back where it's like that sharp, like where you can't even move?
Yeah, I could barely walk.
Yeah. Oh,
and
I know that.
and I toughed it out during the competition, but I didn't do great. I think I placed second in everything that last time we went because of that. But it was
Second's not
ridiculous.
too shabby. Unless there's
Not too
just two
shabby.
people. No, and even
No.
that's not too bad. And even that's not bad if there's just two people, because you're then you're one of the first place winners too, in a way.
Yeah, heck yeah. No, I had the
But
instructors like
second's great.
trying to pull on my leg, and he was like trying to pop my back the whole time.
Miyagi
And
style.
wasn't
Kid.
happening. But I went out there and
old
let me
Miyagi
see
style.
what I can do. And got out there,
great,
figured,
man.
hey, I'm here already, might as well compete,
Yeah,
and did. Had a great time still.
Oh, dude, how did you do that, man? You competed when you could. Because listen, a year or so ago, like not this past summer, the summer prior, so almost 2 years ago, so or whatever that may be, the time frame. Sorry, I literally so. When everybody wants to stretch with a chair behind them, you sit in a chair and you just sort of like use the back of it, and you stretch and you try to crack. Adam, the bottom. So I was cracking the top part. I was like, trying to slide down, trying to crack.
Yeah.
The bottom of my back, that ping, like a ping, I call it ping. And all of a sudden, it's like, I can't move. It's like my whole back is like, just, I don't know. I didn't go to the doctor. I just waited a couple of weeks because I was like, okay, I'm going to just work it out. I knew like a week or two went by. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know how you would be able to fight people when you just hurt your back, but you came in second place, which is insane.
I was struggling. I was definitely struggling. But no, I got back into town, and I had an MMA fight, my first one ever, right out of high school, and it was like a month and a half after I graduated.
Wow.
And I got back into town, and my back was still messed up. So I went to practice, and like I remember it was like literally my first practice back. We were kicking some pads, kind of on the leg, like practicing leg kicks. And like it was hurting so bad. But I think like the second one I threw, I hit it, and like I brought my leg back, and I felt something pop.
Wow.
Felt amazing after. No pain at all.
Really?
No pain. So I think something was just out of like socket or out of where it should have been, but it went right back in.
Adam, that's probably what it was. There was probably like a nerve being impinged or something like that. Or if that's the right word. Yeah, something was
itself, whatever it was.
That's insane. Well, thank goodness that you use the old school methods and just sort of use this thing called time, and which I don't recommend everybody. I think if you're feeling ill, definitely go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. I agree.
But when you're an expert, when you're an expert like Adam, and the hip may have went out a little bit, Oh, good. That's crazy. So now, where is your first fight? Where is your first MMA fight?
Sacramento, California, baby.
Sacktown. Yeah. Now this is the capital of California, ladies and gents.
Capital of California.
Everybody listening in, this is Northern
McClellan Air Force Base.
Oh, that's rad. That's sick.
It was at McClellan Air Force Base.
What was the card like when you were fighting? Was there any like top headlining card?
It was
at that point?
That first one was just amateurs. It was just the amateur MMA card, actually.
Right on.
And I made my debut, and I was supposed to fight this one guy, and then he pulled out, and then the weigh-ins were crazy because it's the same day weigh-in, right?
Yeah.
And for amateurs, a lot of the time it's the same day weigh-in. So I fight at.
And you're physically fit. If you don't know Adam's Instagram account, it's the Chin Collector, the _ Collector.
Yes. Thank you.
Go to it, check it out. Link to our social media, and just link to him from there. Follow him, please. Like his posts. But check him out when he goes into the ring and he's all physically fit. Adam, you are in shape and you're an inspiration. It's I'm like, I want to get there. I want to be able to like chisel my body like that and be able to like work out to that capacity. It's not easy for me, but I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm not going to stop. I'm keeping the heart of people like you and me. Adam, I'm not even kidding. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. We're in Sacktown. We're at McClellan Air Force Base. Amateurs fights. You're against. Do you remember who you fought against? Who the person's name was?
I fought a guy. Oh man, I fought a guy named Darius Stir. My first fight.
Darius Stir. And big shout out to Darius. Big shout out
to Darius. Big shout out. He was a cool dude. He was 26 years old and I was 18.
26 and you're 18. Oh, this is like a Diaz brother situation. I'm feeling it right now.
and we weighed in, made weight. I weighed in at 145. I probably weighed the week before 160.
Wow, 15 pounds possibly. You
Came
lost
back.
50.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. That's crazy.
We'll talk about that. Weight cuts are crazy. We'll definitely get into weight cuts.
That's crazy.
So made weight, went, ate all day as much as I could, blah, blah, blah. Came back, checked the scale again before I fought, was 160 again already.
What?
Balloon back
It's just
up.
water. It's just water.
This happens. Every MMA fight you see, these guys and girls are going through that. Every single MMA fight you've ever seen.
That's
weight cutting
insane.
is crazy. But anyways.
Wrestling, that starts back in wrestling days. Because I know
wrestling.
They become weight, not eating. I was like, how you doing it?
Wrestlers do it. Yeah. It comes from wrestling. Exactly. Yeah. Show up and, you know, we start, I made the walk first. I remember I walked out first. And in your first fight, you got to wear shin guards. But it's just shin guards and gloves, you know, and little MMA gloves. Yeah, little 3-ounce gloves, like a sock on your hand. And I was pretty confident. I was ready to go, you know, and got in there and he started walking. And I remember being like, oh, that's a different person than earlier, because he was way bigger, way more amped up and just like ready to fight this time. You know, he was being super nice and stuff earlier. And so was I, of course. But came out real ready to fight. And I do remember thinking like, oh, okay, it's going to be good, you know? And we started fighting and that dude, man, hit me with a right hand, like pretty quick. I kicked him in the leg twice and he hit me with a right hand. Boom. And it was probably the hardest I'd been hit by another person. Wow. Up to that moment. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be good.
Were you in the face?
Right in the face. Right in the face.
Wow.
Right.
What happens when you get hit like that and you get like, just like somebody puts all their force and you get hit? Like, how do you not fall down? I know that's training
for every person. It's different for every person. Personally, I've been blessed and very lucky with a solid chin. Like, you can hit me with a freaking 2x4, and I'm not gonna stumble or nothing.
And don't try it, anybody. Disclaimer: do not try it. No.
Don't.
We're gonna take Adam's word for this.
But man,
probably is with all the punches you've taken, harder than a 2x4.
Doesn't I don't get rocked. Like per se, you know, like you see some guys get hit and they're stumbling and like you could tell they're not quite there, right? That doesn't happen to me. I've never been rocked, never been knocked out, but I've been hit pretty good a couple times. And we were fighting and he hit me probably, man, so fast. I remember I couldn't see it coming, you know, that was a big thing. Like he would go, I would see him move barely and then bam, I got hit. And he hit me good. Your first fight, the rounds are only 2 minutes long.
How do you feel like when you're in there, you got this person right in front of you, you maybe just have talked to him a little bit. Some people are really good friends. Some you may have just met this fighter. And like, are you like, do you have like, how's the energy in you at this point? Are you like nervous? Are you freaking out? Or are you just like sort of calmed?
Middle of the fight, I was pretty calm, but I do remember thinking like, I got to stop getting hit by these. You know, like I got to stop because it's going to start doing some damage if not. And there was 2 minutes left and like, or no, not 2 minutes left. There was maybe 20 seconds left. And he had hit me, knocked my mouthpiece out. And I remember like the ref stopped it and he picked it up and, you know, you put it back in your mouth. And that's when I was like, dude, we got to do something now, you know? Wow. And last 10 seconds, he's following me, chasing me around the cage, trying to land that right hand again. And literally the last like 10 seconds, he throws it and I saw it this time and I went over it and hit him, dropped him flat on his back.
Wow.
And
knockout
him a couple times.
Knockout force.
Fight was over.
Wow! Adam Avitia is the winner.
So that was my first fight. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it had some, you know, adversity, like a real fight should have. You know, it had some adversity. It was everything you want out of your.
Just what you said. Fight. I'll tell you this: what you just said, you could make a movie of. You can make a movie about that. Rocky is all about Muhammad Ali. Sylvester Stallone was watching the fight between, for those that don't know this, Muhammad Ali and a gentleman named Chuck Wepner from Bayonne, New Jersey, the Bayonne Bleeder. Ali was giving people, just like no-name people, like just chances to fight him. And that's how cool Ali was. And here comes Wepner, who was known as the Bayonne Bleeder. He had a lot of, like, I think, scars on his face from fighting. He was a real, like, hardcore fighter. And he lasted, you know, the whole distance. And some say that Ali, you know, toyed with him for a bit. But that Stallone watched that, and that's where he created the characters of Rocky Balboa or Apollo Creed.
I did
So,
not know that.
Adam, so your story of your first fight, I mean, taking on somebody, what you went through just to get to that point, and then having the mouthpiece knocked out, everything you went through, getting punched, and then being able to come back with a knockout win. Absolutely inspiring. That is,
Awesome,
you must have, what did it feel like when you knew that other fighter was knocked out? Like, were you like, oh, I did it? What was it like?
I had never, that's not true. I was gonna say I had never knocked anybody out before that, but I kicked a guy in karate once and knocked him out before that. But we were practicing, so it was kind of messed up. It was on accident.
Little sparring, that happens. Sparring gets real. Sparring's real.
Yeah, and I remember I hit him, and he fell flat on his back, and I wasn't quite sure what had happened, like for a second, and I looked, his eyes were open, and I kind of looked at him, and he wasn't looking at me. He was looking straight up, and that's one of the things that all referees, when somebody gets hit like that, referees are looking, they should be if they're good. They're looking to see if the guy's tracking with his eyes, right? Because you can get hit and knocked down and still be tracking with your eyes. But if you're not, that fight needs to be stopped because you're not there. And I noticed he wasn't tracking. So I jumped on, bam, gave him like 2 more. Ref was pretty good, got there quick, stopped the fight, man. But I remember seeing him and being like, oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Wow.
Ref pulled me off. I threw my mouthpiece over there, hit somebody in the crowd, threw it over the fence, and just went crazy, man. Like, felt real good, Felt
for 200 G's
good.
On eBay. Adam Avitia's mouthpiece. You found that thing, everybody.
Yep.
That is absolutely incredible, Adam.
Got to look out, out the cage and see my family. Well, everybody, my family mainly, though. Everybody standing up cheering. Yeah, it was crazy.
Watching your family support you and watching them cheer for you when you just defeated a worthy opponent.
Yeah.
How did you feel in terms of somebody who's sort of creating a legacy for your family in a way?
Nice knowing everybody was behind my back, man. Like, everybody 100%, and always has been for every fight. Like, in my first fight to my last fight, like, my family's always been there. The support has been very real. My family and my fans. Yeah.
Bless your family. And, it's something for me that I know how important that is. And that's why I always say, when family is there supporting you, it's something that us on the outside also want to give accolade to, because we want them to know how much we appreciate them for supporting you.
Absolutely. I've had the most support ever.
Thank you, everybody in Adam's family.
My mom, dad, grandparents, friends, like everybody, I've had the craziest support, and it goes all the way back to wanting to go to Ireland as a little 16-year-old, like the GoFundMe's and everything. Like, I've always had the craziest support ever, and I'm very fortunate for that.
And it's crazy because there's the case that was just on mainstream media, the Gabby Petito case. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes, I have.
Now, interesting little fact about myself. I grew up around the corner from her stepfather, Jim. Wow. So I actually graduated. I went to that high school that they were from.
Oh, wow.
So I want to just first say, talking about family, and I told Lisa TSP I wanted to make this mention, and it just sort of segues perfect right here. Yeah. We want to give a shout out here from the show and network also to the Schmidt family, the Petito family, every one of you that are involved with Gabby's murder and all of the insanity that's ensued over the past nearly 2 months now, maybe over 2 months. We just want everybody to remember Gabby in terms of the inspiration that she sought in life, as well as the inspiration she brought to this life. I know her father, I believe it's Joe Petito, and I apologize if I was wrong with the first name. It was Jim, who I grew up around the corner from. Him and his older brother, Mike. Such wonderful people. Every once in a while, I'd catch them walking around the neighborhood or driving around. I see Jim walking around. Yeah. I was, I think, a couple years older, and he'd have his fireman hat on. And we have come from a very working class neighborhood, and I believe now he's the chief of the fire department out there in Bayport, Blue.
Oh, wow.
New York. So I just, they have a wonderful family. It's an absolute tragedy. We just want everybody to remember Gabby in terms of the joy that she sought in the world and where she was ultimately looking to direct the world in a positive direction. So we just want to make that mention really quick. And I know that's an interesting tidbit about where I come from also, because
Very, yeah, very.
it's been so tragic and sad over the last couple months now. You mentioned family, and that's why I had to make that mention, to those
Yeah,
families out there,
of
Adam.
course.
And, so just for a moment, can I take this conversation a direction that I ask all of our featured guests? And
Do
everybody
it.
here listening, I want to welcome you here to the Subjective Perspective Show on Be Awoke Entertainment here at beawoke.com. That's BEAWOKE.com. And this is episode 153. Oh my goodness, Adam.
153.
153. When I
Yeah.
was saying to Lisa, I remember when we first started, and we didn't even think that this was going to last maybe 10 episodes. It's something over 8 years. This is Adam
Wow.
Avitia. And Adam, that's why for us, we understand what it is to truly believe in your vision. And, for everybody that's listening in, this is one of the greatest fighters coming out of California, coming out of the States on this planet. This is Adam Avitia. And I want to just ask you, Adam, we ask everybody these two questions. So
Okay.
you can listen to every episode and you can take these any direction you like. They're not too crazy, but it's just, it could be something that somebody may not want to go down the road of one of these topics. The first topic I'm going to ask you deals with, are you a religious person or a spiritual person in any way? And if so, how does that tie in to your life, to your fighting, perhaps even?
I love that question. Yes, I am religious, spiritual, and that stems from my family, from my mom, mainly my mom, and Pastor Dan being such a big part in my life. When I moved to Ione out of Stockton is when it really became more of a prevalent part of my life, and it's mind, body, and spirit, right? That's what I believe. It's mind, body, and spirit. Everything is. And if you're out of balance,
Yes.
a little bit, that's fine. But if you start to get big out of balance, that's when you have problems, right? And I think
Great points.
being centered with those, mind, body, and spirit, does so many things for so many people. And it's a hard thing to do, like it's a daily battle for sure. It's a
Yeah,
daily battle, definitely.
totally.
Yeah. But I am spiritual, and it's nice having faith, when things get rough, or things get they're not going how you think they should, or whatever, or anything you're going through in life. It's nice to be able to sit back and go, okay, I have faith in my Lord, and faith that everything's going to be okay, and this is how it's supposed to go, and it'll work out fine, and I'm always going to have the strength and support to get through it, whether it's the
Yes.
whole family or it's just God. Yeah.
Yes. That's beautifully put. Eloquent, Adam, and really just so well stated in terms for those that are listening in, saying, okay, like maybe, they're feeling a little off kilter. Maybe
Yeah.
life is feeling a little off balance. Maybe they can sort of think about those three aspects: the mind, the body, as I say, mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit, and work
Yeah.
on, and the soul spirit aspect. Again, I make the point that I actually just got a tattoo done for everybody sort of looking at as I sort of
Ah,
pop it
nice.
up. Now I have to finish it. I have
Nice.
some words going to be up there, but I have this cool book, and it's all going to be colored in. And that's actually the
Yeah.
vessel my great great grandfather came in from southern Italy back in the early
Wow.
1900s. So
Okay.
that's a book
Wow.
sort of popping out of the water. And I have this goes up the whole way. But I
Sweet.
mention that because this kanji, these two characters stand for having faith. Okay. Also can be interpreted as having an honest mind and the seeking and faith.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I hold very near and dear to me. Obviously, have it on me. Uh, Faith in something, whatever somebody holds as their religious belief. I put that out to everybody listening in. Whatever your belief system, even if you're an atheist, you have to have faith. If you don't believe in talk about the ontological argument, the existence of God, right?
Yeah.
Very philosophical, academic, something that is taught in, philosophy 101. And, you talk about the basics of, well, what is the existence? Is there existence? Yada, yada. Well, for an individual to believe that God does exist, in respect to whoever's, whatever perspective you have on
of course.
faith is, that you have to have faith in that idea. Well, it's the same for somebody who does not believe. Just because something cannot be proven doesn't mean that you can't have you have to preclude yourself from having faith in that fact, because you have to have faith that science is totally correct. And the one thing about science, and I forget,
it's not correct.
It's something that's ongoing. It's something that is. There was I forget who it was, but a very reputable person. This is a wonderful conversation with you, Adam. I'm absolutely loving this. In episode 153, ladies and gentlemen, here at the show,
baby.
This is how we do it on the Subjective Perspective Show.
Halloween special.
Just to remind you, got a little decor here. Wearing my orange pumpkin shirt. It's a couple sizes too big.
I didn't wear anything, but my dog has got the outfit on. Right, I might have to show the dog.
Yeah, if you got a little doggy out there, we'd love to see. I got our little doggy. He's like,
hold on.
Hey,
the penitentiary, because she's a bad girl. Say hi, Zoe.
That outfit, the little prisoner outfit. That is so cute.
That's my Zoe girl.
Oh, and what is Zoe? That is
Zoe. Yeah.
What is Zoe? What is her breed?
She's a pit bull.
She's a pit. Oh gosh, beautiful she is. I grew up.
Thank you.
My best friends had two of the cutest little pit bulls, and I saw them actually give birth, and it was incredible.
Wow, yeah.
1997, and little Suki it was gave birth to a couple of little doggies, and oh my goodness gracious, love pit bulls. They get a bad rap because of a lot of how they've been personified and displayed on media, I think early on, and that's why hopefully dispels a bit of the fear of adopting a pit bull, and because as you just saw, Zoe is cute as cute can be.
This dog, I mean, I've taken this dog to the gym and had the teammates' kids like grabbing her face, and putting their fingers in her eye and her ear. And the whole time she's just wagging herself.
Licking them. She's like, happy. The happy antenna's going, the little tail's going.
But she sees a mouse or a squirrel.
Oh yeah.
Or anything else.
Oh, it's on.
Better run.
We have now our little guy's sleeping on the couch here, and I can't move my screen because it's all attached, and I apologize.
No.
But he is a Chapikapoo, little long-haired Chihuahua with a Pekingese and little poodle. He looks like a little long-haired Chihuahua. He is a little darling, but if he sees a little mouse or he sees a little cat, he's off to the races. So it doesn't matter how big the dog is; it's the heart of the fight in the dog. Isn't that the truth? That's a cool way to talk about that. I dig it.
Heck yeah.
Listen, let's go back to this aspect of the ontological argument for a moment, in just regard to having faith, even for somebody who doesn't believe in a faith-based paradigm. Oh, totally cool if you don't also. But just to say, science is ongoing. The idea of science is there's something called the scientific process, hypothesis, have to test hypothesis. A theory is just a theory, but a law is a law.
Guessing.
That involves guessing.
At the end of the day, it's a bunch of guessing.
Having a guess and then testing that guess out. And if that guess works out to work, then many times, multiple times, where it's almost working universally perfect the same time, or I should say it's the continuity is the same, it's going to have the same results, then we refer to this as a law. So we talk about gravity. So anywhere you are in the physical universe, gravity is working for what we know as humans. And who knows, what we know could one day be challenged, and that could be something totally evolved to a new perspective and paradigm. But science is ongoing. So a law is a law, a theory is a theory. And to test that theory, we have to realize science
is an ongoing process of what we understand this world to be. So we can't think that the world right now is going to stay what it is based upon the data we collect. In the
Ever-changing.
1600s, it was, I forget the exact date. Please, somebody Google this. It was Nicholas Copernicus. No, that it was the 16th century. I believe it was 16th century, 1500s. Copernicus writes about the sun being the center of
Center
the
of the
known
universe.
solar system. Solar
Yeah,
system,
yeah.
let's say. And he wasn't able to come out with that publicly because of ridicule and prosecution, based upon what the center of power would say as the Earth being the center of the solar system.
I was going to say they previously believed it was Earth, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
considered the geocentric theory, geo being Earth, that the center of the solar system is Earth. The heliocentric, the helio, Helio centric theory is the sun is the center, centric being the center. So here comes a guy named Galileo Galilei and has these things called telescopes. I think it was Dutch eyeglass makers, I believe, is where he got a kaleidoscope, and he got lenses from Dutch eyeglass makers, from what I remember here. Please, I didn't do a little research prior to this, but this is what I do remember reading. It's brought forth the notion that no, it is the sun that's the center of the solar system, not the Earth.
Yeah.
And I believe he spent the rest of his life, because he was prosecuted, and spent his remaining years in house arrest. So Galileo died, I believe he died under house arrest. So maybe PSP will fact check me on that.
In the name of science,
In the name of science,
In the name of science.
So we got to put it out there, even if you're somebody who does not believe, discussing the ontological argument, that's okay, and that there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Nothing
that
at
takes
all.
faith also. That takes you believing, saying, okay, science will stay like this, the results will remain like, or whatever the results brought forth are. And let me tell you, there's a lot to be said about ideas that pop up in the future of what we can sort of deduce as a human species based on years of civilization. And I say that, Adam, because we mentioned World War II less than 100 years ago, one of the most tragic times in world history. Now we're looking at ourselves here in 2021. We've gone through the pandemic. A lot of businesses had to close. Some are still working to stay open. So there's a lot happening for people in terms of how they're working to survive economically. Also, thinking about, a lot of discussion around what's going on with the pandemic. And there's so much to be said right now. So nobody would have foresaw this, 70 years ago, that in 2020, the reason I mention this is nobody would have foresaw all of this happening, especially like 30 years ago, 20 years ago. America was really becoming economically vibrant. You start to see, and now there's obviously a lot of disparity also, and there's areas that don't see that economic boost in terms of tax revenues and things of that nature that get implemented from could be the school tax implemented from property taxes. I apologize. So it all depends on regions also. So not to say every region in America was always perfect. There's a lot of places, obviously, just in the last 20 years that have seen so much difficulty. But when we think about the importance of reflecting and really bridging differences, I think that's going to be one of the things that we take from this time period. There's a lot of different perspectives, and I believe in humans. I really do. I'm the eternal optimist, Adam. I'm somebody that believes
I like that.
Okay. I believe everything's going to be all right, no matter what side of, feeling on whatever perspective you have.
Everything's going to be okay.
I think we're going to be all right, because I believe in humans. I believe in what the major tenets are of what we believe as what should be, a lifestyle, a way that people, a standard of living for people. So I think that a reflection, hopefully people start to recognize, okay, there's going to be ways that we can.
I'm sorry, my dog just coughed. If anybody heard
Zoe,
that,
I
if anybody
totally
heard
dig
that,
it. I heard a little something in the background. That was Zoe
like,
giving a little cough. Hey, our little guy, little Jerry, gives little coughs here too. So if you hear him when he wakes up, you never know. You might hear him for a little bit. We've been rocking and rolling for a bit. So Adam, I don't want to keep you on too long, but I'm enjoying this conversation.
I'm enjoying it too. Yeah,
thank you so much. So
my girlfriend walked in the house and the dog got funny. That's all that was. No worries.
Big shout out from here on the Subjective Perspective show. And I say it, Adam, because I just want everybody to feel a bit inspired, to feel optimistic. I know there's a lot that we can take in via media, and a lot of the perspective that we have, the paradigm we live in is based upon the media we take in. So whether it's considered left wing or right wing or centrist, or if it's just social media, whatever direction media someone takes in, that attributes to the way they see the world, their world view.
Does totally. And I think a lot of media doesn't currently anyways doesn't exactly portray everything in the best way it can, right? Like I would say that's especially true now.
Sensationalism.
So even better, to say like maybe don't pay so much attention to that and try being optimistic and go outside and talk to your neighbor and like get your news and what's going on from that, go talk to some people and see how people are really feeling, not what everybody's saying online.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That is I'm sorry, the word I'm seeking, not fabricated, starts with an M, I think. Manufactured. I apologize. Manufactured. Okay, there's things that we now listen. For people that don't understand the Spanish-American War, I have history degrees. I have degrees in history, Adam. So which is why I make this point. I'm from the working class streets of Long Island, New York. I'm the first kid in my family to go to college. My father's a carpet installer. I grew up doing carpets with my pops. My family's working class, 100%. My father, late 60s, still kicking carpet. Been doing it since he was 18.
Wow.
So this is the work ethic I got. And that's why, I just want people to recognize that in essence, this becomes the direction that we all have the ability to take, whether it's dealing with hardships that we have in front of us.
Yeah.
We have the ability to overcome those hardships. We want what we're saying right now, the heart of a fighter, of Adam Avitia. We want that to live in you all. We want you to know, because I know that life is not easy, but we want you to know that you could overcome any obstacle in your life. So I say that. The reason I say that, Adam, sort of just, as we were talking a bit about, sort of a more abstract aspect of, how we see ourselves. I think it's important for people to recognize that, we all have this potential, that manufacturing ideas is something that stems back to you can go back hundreds of years. You probably go back thousands of years when you talk about aspects of propaganda. But when you talk about,
absolutely.
We talk about America and American history in terms of America becoming a superpower, as we talked about a bit earlier. And the Spanish-American War began because a person by the name of William Randolph Hearst. Now, everybody, I challenge you, go out, read your history books. Okay, it's in there, promise you. William Randolph Hearst declared in the New York Journal, in order to sell papers, this is where the term yellow journalism comes from, lying in the media. Okay. This is all, this should be in the history textbooks still. I know it's in the ones that I utilize. But Hearst lied in the paper, making the point, I'll keep it short. I won't get into the nuances of the Spanish-American War, but there was a lot going on. Spain was a superpower, and they had a fleet of.
They worked on.
Well, oh, totally, and big time. And Guantanamo Bay, which now is known for a lot of recent incidents. That was a colony of theirs. Cuba. So there was an American battleship that sails in towards Guantanamo Bay, and it explodes.
Now it explodes in reality due to it carrying ammunition. There was like gunpowder
Okay.
in the hull of the boat, and due
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the heat and all that jazz. That again, I won't get into all the craziness, the intricacies of it, but it explodes. Now, pretty much known in retrospect for the people that were there, knowing that they were not being attacked. Though William Randolph Hearst put on the cover of the New York Journal to gosh, I think it was to HE double hockey sticks with Spain. And I want to say, and I could be paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
they blew up the Maine. So the fact that
Okay.
because the ship was called the Maine,
Oh, okay. Okay.
the American ship that was over in Guantanamo Bay.
That's
So,
catchy. I bet everybody was on that.
oh, it
Yeah.
was on. They were selling papers like going out of style.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
what sold. That sensationalism, the yellow journalism. Not to
Yeah.
say everything you see on media is falsified, not to say that
No,
whatsoever,
there's great stuff. There's great stuff.
but to make the point that there's a history of what is known as yellow journalism and sensationalism in the media. And you could see that most recently, one of the big podcasters out there, Joe Rogan, had Sanjay
Been under
Gupta
fire.
on his
Yeah.
show. Yep. So, and we saw Sanjay Gupta actually walk back statements that were made by his company.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
So
All about the ivermectin stuff and whatnot,
yes,
right?
yes. So, and just speaking on behalf of objective reality, what's playing out in front of me, not taking a stance on either side, but saying, okay, there was a company that made claims that were inaccurate about Joe Rogan. And he had the leading medical or one of the leading medical people, Sanjay Gupta, on his show. And he called him out on it. And Sanjay did say that should not have been said. What was said about Joe. So to put that out there, again, ideas that when you look through the lens of critical thinking, when you look at alternative sources of media, always take a multitude of sources. Don't ever look at one source and say, this is the end all be all of truth. Because that's you giving somebody a blank check to say, how much do you want to pay me for my work? You know what I'm saying? Like how much, like you tell me what it is. I'm not going to go out there and search it out on my own. And anybody worth their weight in salt, just as a thinker, just especially in academia, but anybody who thinks about, well, what is truth? What information will I take in that isn't quote unquote processed information that is healthy for me, that's actual, that's true. So always put that out there. I've done a lot of work in terms of media, as you see with the podcast for so many years. And Adam, that's why I've had so many people on this talk show. We've had leading political theorists, people that were on Joe Rogan's show that a week or two later, or within that couple days later, were on our show. Graham Hancock. We had Graham Hancock.
Oh, yeah.
So we had Graham on really good episode back in 2013. This is now. Adam, this is when we started. So we were like ahead of the curve. We started before everybody had a podcast. When nobody knew what a podcast was is when we were pretty much on, when only a few people were on. Yeah. So with all of that said, now I'm going to ask you, and I ask every guest this. So take this as far as you'd like, or as, you could just, whatever, a couple words on it.
Got it.
Are you a political person? And if so, is that something that ties into your life?
I'm political in the sense that I have certain beliefs. As far as, I'll give you an example, like Second Amendment. I'm political in the aspect of that, but I'm not very political. I think everybody kind of got caught up in the trap of being political during COVID for the pure fact that there was nothing else going on.
Great point.
So I think everybody kind of fell in that trap a little bit.
And a lot going on in the country, which made people pique their consciousness. They were like, okay, they're home, they're watching the media, as we just saw, and they're like, okay, they're becoming a bit more active in civics and government. They're like, okay, now they're sort of awakening. That's why we're called Be Awoke Entertainment.
Yeah.
The term woke, I know, has a very loaded meaning, and we created, which is why I always put this out there whenever, if I ever feel like, you know what, let me make this point. Oh, we created Be Awoke to awaken consciousness, to enlighten people back in 2017, before the word went mainstream. And I talk all about this in past episodes, so I won't go too deep into it. But once that word went mainstream and it had a lot of different perspectives, I was like, oh my goodness, like we put a couple of years into our new network because we were part owners in another network prior to this.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to change everything again. I just
man, people could be woke network. Yeah,
yes,
woke perspective, you know.
the perspective could be wild. So that's why we're awoke. You know, we don't consider ourselves, you know, in any context of how people politicize the term woke. We are awoke. We created our company years before that term went big. If we would have known it would have gone big and would have been as loaded, maybe we would have had a different
trendsetters, buddy. Trendsetters. It must have been you. I don't know.
Well, you know why it was. Adam, this is why it was. I had a student who said, Professor, you're woke. Back in like 2015, 16.
Yeah, really.
Great student too.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. And I just figured it meant enlightened. Like it was a new word the kids were using, like the younger generations. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Crowd, yeah.
And then have a son also who's now in double digits in 20s now, but he's probably about your age, Adam, about your age, actually. So really, he's awesome and you're awesome. So I have a lot of faith in our future. We have awesome people right now working for us. So you're one of them, brother. Our son out there too. Big shout out to Noah, no doubt. But you know, and I apologize. Didn't mean to divert too deep, but just to, you know, make the point, you know, that, you know, when we think about the uses of, you know, what it is that we take in, important to critically think. Just going to finalize with that point in that regard. Because important. Politically, you know, we actually did an interview with Broadway Director of the Year, Will Nunziata. I don't know if I sent it to you. It's on our main page. So if anybody out there didn't get a chance to look at it, go to beawoke.com. Take a peek at it.
Check it out.
He talks because, you know, he checked our show out a bunch, and he's like, you know, what's really cool about you all is you're a safe place. You know, you're safe for people. And, you know, whether you're left or right or in the middle, people could talk about their ideas. I said, yes. I grew up, you know, in the late 70s, 1980s, 1990s, and it was all about people having differences and people appreciating differences and people learning from differences, because that's how I grew. And that's how I became so eclectic in my knowledge base, because I met so many people from all over the place. I was by the New York City area. And, you know, you meet people on the train, on the bus stop, just walking around in school or whatever.
And you're able to get along with them, right?
And you get along. And so our son said, Dad, you're woke. So at that point, I was like, you know what? We were thinking about the new name for this company, Be Awoke. We were like, let's awaken people. That's why we do what we do. So we want you all to know you have a place here. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, left, right, in the middle. You have a place here. We want to hear your voice. Your voice has value. And that we've had some of the most, we've had Noam Chomsky on the show. Noam is a huge thinker, political theorist, and obviously somebody who's been in the media recently, and would be considered more on the left side. We've had people on the right side, people in the middle. So we have people of all spectrums on the show. So we want you all to realize these are objective intellectual ideas that we're getting into that we hope inspire your consciousness. And Adam, you know, I understand that idea that point you mentioned with politics. It's like, you know, it got a little more, you know, we got a little more into it over the last couple of years. There's a lot more going on, being
so much going on. Yeah.
And that ties into it greatly. And I think it's important that people are active in civics. I think people have to know about their history. I think people have to know about local representation, what they stand for obviously, you know, for your state, for the nation. Just become active, not meaning you have to be an activist at all, but saying be active in your knowledge. So you go out there and you take in information that, you know, will be from different sources, and you get a more broad understanding of what the topic is. That's something that's very important. And as somebody that, you know, you, such as yourself, who is a fighter, somebody who fights people probably from all different, as you mentioned, you fought in Poland, right? Did you fight in Poland? You came in first and second in Poland.
Ireland.
Ireland it was. I'm
No
sorry.
no competition in Poland. It's all good. It was
Okay,
just
okay.
Ireland. Yeah.
Did you watch the fights in Poland though? Is that where you were? Did you just go? What did you go to Poland for initially? To watch tournaments?
No, just to enjoy Poland.
Oh, that's awesome. So doing some traveling.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
The first part of the trip is literally just traveling and enjoying. The second time I went, it was Amsterdam, the first part. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh yeah,
right?
These are cool places. Vincent van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. I have never been, but I do want to get there one day. We've had a couple people on our show. One person, John Sinclair, who lives in Amsterdam. Big shout out to John Sinclair. He was a big voice in the 1960s and 70s. John Lennon wrote songs about him. Very, very good guy. And he told us, get out there and go check out Amsterdam and visit him. We haven't got out there yet, John, but
check it out if you
checking
ever
us
can.
out here. Shout out to you, and soon enough we're going to get on out there. Now, Adam, with that said, I got to ask you, in terms of health. So I mentioned this earlier that we go this direction. I'll bring the politics to a close. I just wanted to ask you in case there were any ideas you wanted to go into that were more, big ideas.
Real fast, because it made me think of it. The last time I went for karate, went to England, Manchester, was in 2019. And I went to London on the train with a friend of mine who is from Ohio, an older guy, 50s, whatever.
Cool.
But the only reason I mentioned that is you understand the kind of mindset Ohio guy has that's around that age, real right wing, right? Well, on our way back, so we took a train from Manchester to London, and on our way back, like somebody fell on the railway or something, and we couldn't take the normal train, so we had to take a big loop around it. It took like twice the amount of time. Wow. But on the train ride, there was this gentleman who was a first generation, I believe, or second generation citizen in England now, but his parents were Afghanistan, Middle Eastern, like Afghanistan or something like that, right? So he wanted to have a super logical conversation with two people from America, and kind of asked us about what's really going on with our president. I think Trump was the president at the time. So what's really going on with the president, and what's really going on with the views, and how we actually see it, and what was actually going on over there. And it was just like I said, talk to people, man, because the perspectives of what's actually going on versus what people see, sometimes they're the same, but can be totally different sometimes,
100%.
And that we had such a smart, great conversation with that guy for and we disagreed on things and got through it and around it, no problem. Just had a good conversation. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, Adam. And that's how people.
And I'll probably never forget that. Yeah.
Oh, and that's the importance of really growing in life, being able to agree to disagree. So we will all have differences, but it's important that we recognize and respect one another through our differences. And I know politics can be super duper heated. So that's why, it's important, like you say, Adam, irrefutably, to gain perspective from just speaking with people. You've been around the world, around this country, talking with people, and of all different thought processes. And that's why you are the way you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to realize Adam Avitia is wonderful to speak with. I am loving this interview right now. Episode 153 of the Subjective Perspective Show. I just want you to know that, Adam, super easy to speak with you are. And you are, as I mentioned, humble, kind, and wise. And that is the mark of greatness. You are a great fighter. You have an incredible career ahead of you. And I just want to reiterate for people just tuning in right now, as we're about an hour and 42 minutes into our interview. Adam Avitia, this is episode 153 over here at beawoke.com. And, Adam, I want to ask you about the health aspect. What does a day in the lifestyle of Adam Avitia look like in terms of food intake and exercise? For people thinking, how do I get in shape like Adam?
Yeah.
What is a day like for you?
I've been eating a certain way and watching my diet and everything, and caring how I looked, or not even that, just caring about being healthy and physically strong and stuff since I would say 8th grade. So that's when I really started diving into it. And I spent most of my high school like dieting and counting calories and all that kind of crazy stuff, you know. And I think more importantly than that goes, than like eating or no, you don't want to eat specific stuff, but it's more about just eat real food, you know, like it's more processed things at a time, you know, out of saving time. You don't want processed food. You want real food, you know,
just like that processed information. We don't want that processed information. And
you want
somebody had
real
said that.
stuff.
And I'm just utilizing that idea that was utilized of the major podcast that I mentioned earlier. That's a very important aspect. And I mentioned earlier with the sugars, you know, and even if it says it's natural, what do people have to look out for?
Well, there's things, you know, if it says it's natural, look on the back of it and just read it and see what it says in the ingredients. And if it's more than 5 things, it's probably not that natural, you know. And if you can't read the word or pronounce the words, probably not that natural. But there's little tricks that just, you know, you got to do some research and you got to learn when you want to start getting healthy. And there's things that make, if you're going to eat sugar, there's things that make it. The problem with sugar is it spikes your blood sugar so much, and then, you know, you have a crash always, right? And your insulin, it becomes, if you're doing that all the time, your insulin gets used to doing that all the time and it starts not working right. Well, there's things to slow that insulin spike, right? So if you're going to eat some, even if it's something like an orange, which is a healthy sugar, you can eat well, the fiber in an orange slows it down. So I use something as a different example. Like if you're going to eat a cake, that's all sugar, right? You want to eat, to help with that blood sugar spike, you want to take in some fat with it, because fat slows down the absorption. Your stomach only absorbs things as fast as the slowest thing in it. So, or like the hardest thing to break down in it. That's called the glycemic index. So say you eat
the GI. I was looking at that with everything that happened to me.
That's very important, right? So like you could take the juice you were drinking back then and take a tablespoon of peanut butter with it, we'll say, for lack of something else right now, and it's going to drastically slow down how quick that sugar gets let off into your system.
Interesting.
And the same thing happens with caffeine and coffee, if you didn't know that. So
I had no idea. How does that work with caffeine and coffee?
So
if you take in like fats with the caffeine and coffee, the caffeine will hit you less, or it'll take longer to hit you.
It's a steadier caffeine release. So if you put like MCT oil in your coffee, that's where like the keto coffee, bulletproof coffee craze kind of honestly started. There is science behind it, but the keto people kind of just stole the idea, honestly. But why not though? I mean, it's a good idea to put out there, right? But if say like it's butter or it's just oil, like I put MCT oil in my coffee. One of them, you know, I usually have 2 a day, one of them, but because, and it's the first one usually, it slows how quick that coffee gets into your system. And all that does is just it reduces the crash you have from it. So same thing with your sugar, it reduces that crash after. And that's really what you want, because if your body can stay, you know, baseline, but maybe a little amped up from the coffee and the crash isn't hard, it's not hard on your body.
What is MCT oil? I apologize, Adam.
MCT oil is just the oil you can buy, like emulsified MCT oil. It comes from coconuts. It's got a lot of, MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides. I think I said that right. Medium chain triglycerides. And those are in coconut or any kind of like healthy fat or natural fat source. And coconut is the main thing. So coconut oil is MCT oil. But it's just, that's the name they give it. When it's not in coconut form, it's in oil form.
So MCT oil can be used with coffees to keep that at a nice steady, rather than just sort of hitting you quick with the caffeine.
You can cook with it, cook some rice with it, you know, and it's not just the carb you're gonna get if you boiled some rice. It's or just drizzle some coconut oil on your rice, and it does the same thing. It slows the carbs getting into your system.
I know Lisa TSP, she's a great cook, and I know we have coconut oil in there. I'm not the cook, so I think she does some of this. So yeah, I'll ask her later. So she's giving me the thumbs up. Yeah, she sees it. So just to put it out there, yeah, that is something I'm going to check out now. And even just on my basic, like even if I take in watermelon, because that's high on the GI index, as I learned. I love watermelon, but I had to cut down for a while because it was more heavy on the sugar. So I was eating more blueberries, blackberries, lower on the GI. So
high in antioxidants and everything else you need too, as well, you know,
Yes. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to check out the MTC. I'm going to talk to my wife about this.
Yeah.
And when I do sugar intakes, I'm going to at least take a drop of it somewhere.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of it.
It doesn't got to be a tablespoon every time, because then, like, it does have calories.
Turn into a coconut.
So.
My big pumpkin shirt will be a coconut shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Real fast, So just a drop, like, is great. Yeah. Or a half a tablespoon in your coffee, like, will do the trick.
Now, Adam.
Yes.
I would love to be as physically fit as you. Now, again, this is going to take me a couple of years to get there. I'm going to keep on working on this. I ain't going to promise anybody, but check out Adam's Instagram. I mean, you are in great shape, brother.
Thank you.
How, like, with exercise? And I know the food piece we touched on, but I was very curious, with exercise. Eat real food, everybody. Big moral of what we just made a point. Make sure it's not processed. But exercise.
Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water.
Would you say bubbly or sparkling waters constitute regular water? Would that work for regular water?
100%. I think bubbly, or even putting like Mio in your water, or those no calorie sweeteners that aren't terrible for you. That works just fine too. That constitutes water 100%.
Awesome.
100%.
Oh, that's why I've been so much better. Oh, Adam.
Unsweet teas are great for you. Black green tea, unsweet is super good for you and everything. Yeah.
I got to get more into green tea. Yeah. Lisa, my incredible wife, she drinks tea all the time. Every night she drinks tea. I got to get into a little green tea. And would you say at nighttime a little green tea?
Little green tea. Yeah, why not?
All right. I'm going to start that process, huh? A little green tea. I got Lisa TSP right here. She's making sure I'm doing well over here. All levels are good. So yeah, okay, this is cool. So I got a little adjustment to my routine. I'm going to incorporate this.
Sweet.
Exercise. You have what they call a 8-pack or a 6-pack. You're good. You definitely are. You got the chisel. You're chiseled.
Thank you.
So how do you get there, brother? How often do you exercise? Do you do your sit-ups and all of your routines? Do you do that every day? How do you do this?
It's different stuff. I work out, 5 days a week. Right now I am doing some different things. I'm kind of taking some time to do not just MMA right now. That's why you've been seeing more posts of like hikes and me rock climbing. I've gotten into rock climbing.
That was awesome.
But usually
in Yosemite right there. Everybody.
Yeah, right? Buddy, Yosemite. Go check that out. Yeah,
love it there.
Stuff. Yeah, buddy. but no, it's I think everybody should lift weights. Weights are great, just for what they do as far as like the positive impact they have on like stress, or it's not all about how you look and what it does to your muscles. It's how you feel more than anything. Yeah. That's what I think. And exercise makes you feel incredible, right? Like nothing like a hard cardio session or like some heavy weights. I think you should lift some weights. If you're a normal person, try to lift some weights a couple times a week, 2-3 times. Doesn't got to be every day. And try to do some cardio if you can, every day a little bit. But cardio doesn't have to be sprinting on the treadmill for 10 minutes, or running 5 miles. It can be something light for 20 minutes.
I do jumping jacks.
There you go.
Like 3. I do like maybe actually now I'm doing like 5 or 6 sets of like 50 jumping jacks.
Yeah.
And I'll throw in my sit-ups and leg raises.
Get the heart rate going, right?
Yes. And that's been keeping me. And then I got dumbbells. So I've been working on my dumbbells.
Nice.
And just to put out my tattoo artist here on the elbow and the inside of the arm with the book. That's my good friend out there in Golden Rose Tattoo in Modesto. That's my man, Mike Archuleta. Mikey's the man.
You might have to hook me up with him. You might have to hook me up with him.
Yes.
I need some more.
Oh, yes. Listen. I will call Mike personally. He's an awesome dude. He's an incredible artist. And I have his stuff on my page. And you can just link through it and check out his work. He's awesome.
I would love that.
My buddy out in New York did all this for me, all this stuff. And that's Nicky Arena out in New York. Big shout out.
Sweet.
And he did the inside of my arm there. But Mike just did this about 2 weeks ago. So now it's healed up.
That's real new. Yeah, that's real new.
This one's 2007, all this. So Mike just connected all of it. So it's all waves, the big wave piece. And I got to get this all colored in because I never got that colored in from 2007. I ended up just, living life. I was living in New York City and my buddy was out on the island, Long Island, which is maybe a 45-minute ride from where I was. And just, I'm
that's
young, I'm in
nice.
my 20s, everybody's living their life. So that's why I never got that colored. But my man Mike's going to color it in. And if you ever want some ink done by a top grade artist, he's been doing this 20 years. He's awesome, Adam. I trust him. He blew my mind when he put my piece on. It's exactly beyond what I wanted, exceeded what I envisioned. So down the road, if ever you needed somebody, you may have other friends that you meet along the way, but just know you have somebody here who definitely connects you. He's a great dude. So I apologize about that. Not to go on a tangent on this, but it's important, the health aspect, because the next question I want to ask, and I have a couple questions left. I'll take you for another 10 minutes or so. Okay. 2 hours we did. I think we do a pretty good with 2 hours.
Yeah,
this is 2 hours, like no problem.
Good Halloween special.
I could have done a big time Halloween special, ladies and gentlemen. The Subjective Perspective Show here. I'm dressed up as a pumpkin. You see, I got my pumpkins out. We're doing it right here.
We had Zoe featured.
Zoe's here doing it.
Oh yeah.
And little Jerry just moved to the floor. Now he's sleeping on the floor. But maybe I'll get him in really quick so you can see. Like, I'll go pick him up in a hot second. He's the best. Just like Zoe, Zoe's a little sweetheart. Yeah, totally. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? Adam, listen, want to just ask you, positive mindset. I know it's not easy because I'm human. All humans go through ups and downs. What advice can you give to people checking this out? Maybe they're in a funk. Maybe there's something that's difficult they're dealing with. So what would you say to them to bring them out of that? And how can they stay in a positive mindset? And how do you stay on the positive side of life?
I think a lot of the information you take in really matters, or what you take in like consistently really matters, right? So if you're watching YouTube videos at night and like they're negative all the time, or you're listening to podcasts, and not a lot of podcasts are negative or anything, but like they are negative, or your friends around you are all very negative and you're around them 6 hours, 4 hours out of the day, or anything like that, you want to try to take in more positivity than negativity, right? So start listening to some guys who they're all about being positive. David Goggins is a great one. He might not be everybody's speed because he's Goggins is, but that's me right there. Like I love that, and I need that.
Right on.
And
I see that. I see that.
Yeah. Goggins is great. Like just listening to good music sometimes, not always some crazy stuff, or like doing what you like. And man, just understanding like you don't got to prove something every day or anything to everyone, I think you got to make yourself happy a lot of the time. And if it takes being alone and not with your friends who are always negative or anything like that, you got to find what that source is of negativity and try to add some positivity, because it's not necessarily enough just to get rid of it. It's really not. You kind of got to put in some positivity. And like you said, we're all human. It's hard to do that every day.
Yeah.
Super hard to do that. I wake up and have bad days,
No doubt. People, great points that you're making here. And I apologize. I didn't mean to cut in, Adam. I'm sorry.
Read a good book, like I said. Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
You're great. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's for everybody checking this out, listening in or watching this, the video component to this interview conversation. I want you to realize that I'm considered a very positive person, but I go through times where I'm not so positive, where I'm like feeling down. I'm feeling like, okay, gosh. And I remind myself, it's that little tool chest I have, that little toolbox, that little bag of tricks where I'm like a little magic bag of tricks where I'm like, oh, I learned this. I learned
cookie
that.
Jar.
Yeah. I it's like, it could be worse. This is something that could be a much more drastic situation.
Could always be worse. Absolutely.
And it's that like we said, that drawer, that special bag of tricks where I'm able to say, okay, I've learned in my life, maybe when I was 16, 17, that, okay, if somebody talks bad about me, just sort of let it roll off my shoulders because they have the issue. It's not me. You know what I'm saying? Totally. Something like that.
Yeah, things like that, right?
So that translates in my adult life. And I'm like, okay, so somebody says something about me. And as we're adults, it's a little harder to let things roll off your back. But we have to remind ourselves, hey, listen, we're all just kids in this big sandbox, only lived a couple more years than when we were. Of course, we're more complex.
Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Yeah.
And let's remind ourselves that, you know what, there were kids that were, you know, maybe a little cruel on the sandbox, and maybe they would say things that weren't cool, but I let it roll off my back. So I'm gonna let that roll off my back. So there's things we learn in life, everybody, that all apply to our future. It's something that is very important to realize. There's a consistency, that continuity with life. And if we just keep on keeping on, we're all going to get knocked down. But that great quote, it's not how hard you get knocked down, it's how fast you get back up, right?
Yep.
This is what it's about. It's about saying, you got this. No, there's only one you on this planet. There's no other Adam Avitia. There's nobody
100%.
else you listening in right now or watching this. There's only one you. So be the best version of yourself. You have something magic in you. And the more we're able to share that, the more we're able to share our message, that incredible thinkers, fighters, intellectuals like Adam Avitia, community members, incredible community member you are. The Stockton community is so lucky to have you. You make Stockton proud, Jackson proud, California proud, America proud, the world proud. You make me proud, brother. And you're somebody that is a living specimen of what it is to follow your vision and to say, I'm going to go for this. And the positive mindset ties into that. But
definitely.
I have 3 questions left, and then I'm going to do a word association game with you really quick. 4 words I've been doing it the last couple of episodes, so you're going to be one of the newer episodes getting the word
I'm down. All right, let's go.
This is the Halloween special, ladies and gentlemen, and we just got a text from our family out in Pennsylvania. My mama texted our little sister. They had a big Halloween parade for the kids.
Ooh,
they're about like 7 years young, 9 years young.
Sweet,
big shout out to all the family out there on the East Coast, both sides. Me, Lisa, TSP, we love you all. And this is going out for the Halloween special, reminding everybody that there's a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, a lot to be grateful for. And this is a beautiful episode, Adam. Thank you for this, brother. Really, really.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
I want you back on too.
I appreciate
down the road,
opportunity. I'd love to be back on, man.
Oh, we'll continue the conversation, no doubt. We do episodes like once every 2 months. So listen, we're gonna have you on. I'm not even playing with that. Okay, so you are. I want to come watch you fight. Okay, I want to support you in the ring.
That'd be great.
So
that'd be great.
We'll be following you, and trust me, I'm going to be supporting you the entire way. Okay, I
appreciate
just think you are top of the line. I
appreciate it, Nick.
I'd say a fighter, a scholar, and a gentleman. Quite frankly, from my stance.
Thank you.
What an awesome dude.
Thank you.
Well, Adam, let me go into these final 3 questions, and just to bring a full circle the fighting aspect. You know, Adam Avitia, MMA fighter. We've heard a bit of his history. He has a very big career ahead of him. I want to ask you though, Adam. You know, what's your next steps with fighting? Are you working on taking this professional? Where are you looking to go with this?
Yeah, I'm amateur right now, still am. Probably only got a fight or 2 left before I can make the decision to go pro, and I am just enjoying it right now. I really am. But I think I would like to go pro, and I would freaking kill it if I went pro. And then once you do, you get to the UFC and be the champ, right? Like that's the only thing that you can do. If you're going to do it, you got to shoot for the top. So 100%, 100%.
UFC champ, Adam Avitia, there's no doubt in my mind. You're from one of the hubs of where the greats are. I mentioned Nick and Nate Diaz. How was it when you met them? I know in the very beginning of our interview we talked about.
Oh, it was great when I met him. I actually met him at like the first time I ran into him was at a restaurant here in Stockton, like a pub type restaurant. Yeah, so they were having a good time, and it was cool. I got the picture on my Instagram from when I was like 15. It was super cool. They were super cool to me too. It was awesome. It was a nice time meeting them.
Oh, that's so cool. So I guess they were eating or having a couple drinks, and they were
couple drinks. Yeah. Chilling with the friends.
I
think like the Kimbo Slice and somebody else fight was on, and they were watching that, and like it was just on the TV. Yeah.
R.I.P. Kimbo Slice, one of the greats. Obviously.
R.I.P. Kimbo. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Kimbo, was it Kimbo and Masvidal that fought?
Kimbo and oh my gosh.
Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Fought somebody in Kimbo's backyard, and I forget who
Yeah.
it
Oh, I
was.
did see that. Yeah.
So I forget who the fighter was. It was
It was in
insane.
Kimbo's backyard.
It was
though,
in Kimbo's backyard. Kimbo
Yeah.
fought a whole bunch of people. I apologize. Nick and Nate Diaz. Well, gotta ask you. Nick just had that fight. It was
With Robbie Lawler,
with
yeah.
Robbie with Lawler out of there. I think it was in Hollywood, Florida. I think he was trained out there, Southern Florida. And I'll tell you this, it made my heart feel good to hear Dana White say some really nice things about Nick, that Nick has the heart of like a warrior, and he actually impressed him because Nick was out for a couple of years due to everything that happened with the Nevada commission. I forget the name of the commission.
The commission and whatnot. That's
it was the
good.
marijuana aspect where he tested positive for marijuana, and I think it was 5 years he was out. It was
crazy.
It was a while. It was a while.
That now they don't even get tested for it. So how crazy
Exactly.
is that? Talk about things changing and all the time.
Exactly.
Stuff, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Adam, great point. Exactly. Great point with that. And so Nick fights Robbie, and I think it go to the second, third round. I forget. I apologize. I watched it. It was great to see. Nick was doing a great job too. And
was doing great. Yeah, it was doing great.
It's just one of those things. He hasn't fought in a couple of years. What was your take on it? I thought he did a great job. I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
Still a massive fan of both of them.
Yeah, of course.
Love
I thought it was pretty awesome. Especially since they had their first fight so long ago, I was pretty positive it wasn't going to be like that first fight. It'd be different in some way.
That was so long. Was it 06? 06? It was like
06, I think,
crazy.
like literally almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Trust me, I keep a little hip to something's going on with the fighting world. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that stuff. I don't know that much though. I know these little nuances, but I know
the
like
name drops and everything have been.
I'm dropping
already,
some names,
man.
picking up those names.
On point. Yeah.
But I gotta look like I'm decently knowledgeable here.
Yeah,
but I've been following it for many years. The fighting. I love boxing. I was always the boxing.
I grew up watching boxing with my dad a lot, man. Boxing, same thing. We're big Pacquiao fans, and
Oh man, huge.
Manny's the man. Yeah, he just retired. Yeah, Manny's the man.
Manny's incredible. Shout out to
a guy
Pacquiao.
coming from nothing, and now he's running for the I think the president in the Philippines or something.
Yeah. Right on. Oh, and you know what? Somebody like
making
him,
real changes.
He can make those real changes.
Somebody
that has he's fearless, and he has. Fearless. He really he's a morally right person. He's a good person. When I say right, not right or left, he's a morally good person. He's somebody that is you could tell he cares about his neighbors. He's somebody that would give you the shirt off of his back. And Manny Pacquiao, one of the great boxing matches I saw. Manny's had incredible boxing matches. The one with Garcia and Anthony Johnson.
Oh yeah,
Andy Garcia. That was like watching like sort of like the Mike Tyson Nintendo game, Mike Tyson Punch Out. Like
Pacquiao's had some crazy fights.
What do you think? In terms of boxing right now, they've had some pretty big. What was the one that was just on?
Fury and Wilder. Fury and Wilder had their second fight. No, third.
Third it was.
Third fight. Yeah.
That was awesome. Every fight of theirs was awesome. This one was crazy. We were watching it.
I still haven't watched this whole fight. I just saw the highlights.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but everybody said it was insane. Yeah.
No, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I think it was the first. I forget when Tyson Fury was down. And I think it was, I'm not sure, the first or second, and then he opens his eyes. Oh my god!
Sat up on him. Was like, oh man. Yeah.
I was like, this is insane. It's like a movie right here.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Do you think boxing is still going to stay strong with MMA? Because MMA and obviously Ultimate Fighting, or all of professional fighting, is huge. Do you think boxing is going to stick around?
I think boxing got kind of like it started moving slow for a little while because like big matchups weren't happening. That's the only issue with boxing is like. There's this belt and there's this belt and it's a different promoter sometimes. So those guys never fight when they should. But these days, boxing's been great, man. Like the big heavyweights, there's some really good heavyweights. Andy Ruiz, Joshua, all those guys. Joshua just got beat by Usyk. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. Right, just before the Fury fight.
Yeah. There's small guys that are crazy good right now, like the Charlo twins. Canelo is the biggest
Yeah,
fighter on the planet right now. You know,
exactly.
so boxing's
Sorry,
strong
my
and boxing's
headphones.
good right
If
now.
anybody could see me, I'm adjusting my headphones. I had a issue here on this side. Sorry, they
But yeah,
tightened up.
boxing's good. Boxing's strong. I don't think it's going anywhere with with MMA being here still. I don't think it's gonna diminish any. I don't.
Let me tell you, the art of boxing is so beautiful.
Sweet
It's
science.
incredible. The ballet of jujitsu, the mental chess of it all, of MMA. This is what I love about it, because a lot of it isn't always being the biggest, baddest, toughest person, most in shape person. A lot of it is knowing, being quick, watching that last punch go, so you know where to slip one in or a kick.
Uh-huh.
And that's why, Adam, I watched you fight. I saw you throw a right hook in somebody's mouth where they eat food, and I was like, they felt that one right there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Really, Adam, you're an exciting fighter, and
Thank you.
What I think is probably one of the things I love most about you is that you're energetic in your fighting. You're ready to go. You're not somebody that is slow in your fighting. You're somebody that is you're a warrior. Yes.
Let's get into it. Like first round, second round, I want to get out of there. So let's get into it. Yeah, that's how I like to fight. That's definitely how I like to fight.
You're doing it. And that's why, with the future, you just get yourself a good pair of sunglasses, because it's going to be very bright for you. I promise you. I'm a little cheesy in my 40s.
That was a good one.
my little jokes just plummet, but not so much jokes, but lighthearted points. I really want you to know it's for you, somebody who started so young and who has made who has brought forth the achievements, who has accolades such as yourself, tournaments, first, second place. Adam Avitia is somebody that has a huge career in fighting. Now, if you weren't fighting, what road would you be interested in going down? I know that's a question you may not have even thought about at this point, because that's not on your radar. You're fighting. So we'll just say fighting. Let's say when you retire from fighting, 20 years from now, what's a career move you may want to get into if you were if you ever wanted to put some of your skill set to use?
That's a good question. Yeah, I enjoy like being knowledgeable and learning about all sorts of things.
I see a professor.
Yeah. I enjoy history a lot. Funny enough, like a lot. So when you were saying that, I was like, oh yeah, we can talk about some history for a while.
I can tell.
Totally.
Yeah, I knew you were into it. You had a lot to talk about, and that's why I was like, oh, this is gonna go a good direction right here.
Yeah, definitely. I could do. I always say like I could do anything. Like if I get into something, I just got to decide I want to do it. But I got that thing in me. Like I want to help people, like really help people. So I don't know. I maybe be like a detective and work my way up and get into like anti-human trafficking and stuff like that. Like I want something big like that.
Yes.
If it was right now, I'd want to be like a Navy SEAL or like special forces of some type. That's what I would want to do right now.
Hearts go out to everybody in Afghanistan who's working on getting back here safely.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people who are SEALs. I've heard them talk on podcasts, and people have worked on doing private evacuations and getting people out. So
how amazing is that?
How
amazing is
Adam,
that? They spend their own time, their own resources, their own money. Tim Kennedy is
I just watched an interview with Tim Kennedy. I just watched an interview with Tim Kennedy, and let me tell you this, Adam, we're so lucky to have you. Okay, on this planet, you are doing incredible things right now, and you will continue to do incredible things. Whether it's down the road getting into law enforcement, being a detective, whether it's being an educated professor, we need you out there. We need your knowledge, your energy, your goodness. We need all of that right now.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Whatever direction you go, managing a company, CEO of a company that you create after you become the champion of the UFC. I'm calling it now here on October 29th, 2021 on our Halloween episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not playing with this. This is real talk right here, because I'm somebody who has a crystal ball. This computer that I'm in front of is like a crystal ball. And right now, I'm able to see a bit of your future, Adam, based on my assessment of what our interview of 2 hours and 12 minutes has been thus far. You're going as far as you want to go. And I'm going to be
Thank
right
you.
there with you, brother, doing my thing so that I'll keep on seeing you on these big venues.
Thank you,
and
Nick.
I should be a bit humble, not to say our venue's big, but to say these venues where I have this opportunity to speak with some of the most interesting and iconic people on the planet.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, man. I really do.
Brother, this is an honor.
This has been awesome. Yeah, this has been awesome.
And I want to thank Javier once again for making this
Shout out
connection.
Shout out
Of
Javier.
course, he gave that
guy,
shout out.
That
he
guy,
told me, I apologize.
I apologize. I'm interrupting you, but that guy is as solid as it gets, man. Like if there's, you know how they say there's somebody you can call at night or any time of the day and they're going to show up and they're going to help or they're going to do whatever. They're going to lend you. They got $20, they're going to give you 10 type of thing. Like Javier is that guy. And he always has been that guy.
And I can tell.
That's
working with him for
like
a couple months. I've been working with a couple months now academically. And I'm telling you, he is just a wonderful individual, and everything you say, I could see that in him. And he told me he knows an amazing person who's a great fighter and who may want to go pro. I was like, oh, let me see what he's doing. I'm really interested in that. And then I saw you, kicking butt and just great post you had up. I was like, I want him on the show. I need him on the show.
I appreciate it, man. I do.
Adam, let me tell you, again, this is the first of a series of interviews we'll do.
Heck
all right,
yeah,
so we want you as a consistent person. I really appreciate this conversation, brother.
I'm down. We can get into all kinds of things, man.
So the next time we have you on, I won't ask you these last 3 questions because I do that for anybody who we've had on twice or 3 times. We, basically just continue the conversation. So these 3 questions are your initial 3 questions that I ask everybody closing out. Actually, the third question is the word association. So these next 2 questions. So this is the last, hopefully, and I've had you on for so long, 15 minutes, perhaps 2.5 hours. We did a darn good job. I think we did okay with this interview. Ladies and gentlemen,
I think we did pretty awesome.
We hope this brought you a dose of inspiration on your holiday weekend here.
What time is it? I don't have a clock by.
We're at 5:15. And you know what? That's the way to go. Keep those clocks out for a little bit. Be in the moment. Oh, goodness gracious. And you know what this tattoo is going to say? It's going to say, Adam, it's a compass, a nautical compass. And it's going to say, Seguro il tuo cuore. Seguro il tuo cuore, which means follow your heart. Italian, brother, Italian. That's why I got the book, the story, and that's going to say something. I'll tell you all what's going to say. It's going to say, inspire the story. And that's my great-great-grandfather who came on the Venetia, sailed from southern Italy, poor farmers out there, came in search of a better life. And I'm just going to keep on inspiring that story. That's why I got it on me. And what he did, what my whole family did is they followed their heart. So that means follow your heart in Italian.
I love it.
It spoke to me, Adam. I earned my doctoral degree December 31st, 2020. Took years to get. And I'm talking years. I was in the doctoral program. I was in a doctoral program since January 2011, switched programs after 5 years, and then did another 4 years and 3 to 4 years in the program. So I stuck with it. Earned my doctoral degree. So the book really represents the doctoral degree I earned. So everybody that's followed us on social
media, man, that's awesome.
Everybody that's followed us, I've earned that degree.
Do all of your tattoos have like a meaning?
They do. For the most part, they do. The only one that doesn't, that was like a sporadic one, was this one right here.
Cool.
It's just a little tribal. I was 19. Cool. I was on my parents' couch napping. I got up. I was like, I want to go get a tattoo. And I went to the local tattoo shop around the corner. And I was like, can I have a tribal sign? And that was that. But everything else has in-depth meaning. And
I'm one of those, I believe, I just think you don't always got to have like, it's cool, obviously. Most tattoos have a meaning, but you definitely don't always got it. I think some are cool just to get, man. They look good.
Yes, 100%. And I saw your tattoo, which says Avitia on your chest.
Family, Avitia.
Beautiful. Beautiful piece.
And I got one more only right now. Here, let me flip it upside down for you. That's
sun in the waves.
The sun in the waves.
Love that.
Come here, please. Can I do a little special feature real quick?
Yes, please.
This is my girlfriend, Madison.
Hey, Madison, it's a pleasure to meet you.
This is Nick. He's
Hi.
just saying it's a pleasure to meet you, but
Nice to meet
she's got the moon setting, and that's kind of,
Oh
the
my
yin yang balance
goodness.
thing, right?
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Madison, thank you.
He
That
said thank you.
Oh my goodness. That is absolutely beautiful. And with
Heck yeah.
the yin yang, I'll show you. I believe in that so much. I got that on me too.
Oh yeah, nice.
I believe it. And I got
Right
this.
on, man.
I got something on my collarbone, the word blue. Got that on the Lower East Side of Manhattan,
Nice.
that's St. Mark's Street, down below it's below Houston, sort of right by 13th,
Yeah.
14th by Union Square in New York City.
Awesome.
And I got blue on my collarbone to represent the blue collared workers, all my working
Good
class
man.
labor
Good
workers.
man.
That's how I grew up, Adam. And
Good
let
man.
me button this John Travolta
Yeah.
little
I
thing up here.
Man, I do not want to cut this short, but if
No.
we can finish around
Yes.
5:25, 5:30, only because we got dinner reservations,
Adam,
bro.
thank you. I apologize. Last
No,
two
you're fine. This has
questions.
been awesome. I had
This
no
has
idea we were
been
going
an
2 hours.
absolute
Dude.
joy.
I had
And
no
thank
idea we were
Maddie.
going 2 hours.
Thank Maddie for her letting us borrow you.
Heck yeah.
Adam, last two questions, and then quick word
Yes, sir.
association.
Do it.
Favorite book and author or movie director?
Ooh. Ooh. What was it called?
And you don't have to
Cirque-
remember directors or anything. You have to
Cirque-
remember.
The book series 1 through 10, Cirque du Freak, is my favorite series. They made movies on it, or like 1 or 2. My
Cool.
favorite book series I've ever read in my life. Read it when I was in 8th grade, but the Cirque du Freak books, as far as a fictional book goes, oh man,
I'm going to check
The
out
coolest-
Cirque du Freak.
coolest books I've ever read. I don't know who wrote them, but you can find all the books online.
Cirque du Freak
By far
it
my
is.
favorite.
Thank
Check
you,
'em out, man.
Adam. Thank you, brother, for that. Well, now
Yeah, no
everybody
problem.
knows. Cirque du Freak
Check
is what
them
you gotta
out,
check
guys.
out.
If you're into like vampires or anything like that,
Yes.
yeah, check it out.
Adam, now the very last question before a quick word association. Most simple question I could come up with 8 years ago. I've asked everybody this, except
Okay.
except what's funny, Graham Hancock that we mentioned earlier. He was losing signal out in northern England when he called in. The only person. Favorite color or colors and why?
That microphone right there, green, my favorite color. Always has been.
Any reason in particular?
I always say green and red if I got to give 2 colors, and that always makes me think Christmas, but I've just always liked the color green. Just always have. Like, it's just my favorite color.
Green is a beautiful color. I love the color green also. There's many colors I love. Green's a good one. Now, for everybody, that's Adam's interview wrapped up. Now, I'm going to get into one word association. We'll take this 1 minute. I'll be very quick here.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be a quick little flash thing with the words.
Let's do it. Let's freaking do
First word that comes to mind when I say this word, Adam, you just throw it on out.
it. Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. 2.5 hours we've been on. You're amazing.
Hey, thank
Way
you.
long, but we have our second one coming up down the road.
Seriously. That'll be 3.
First, you're the best, brother. First word. First word, that thing that comes to your mind. Positivity.
You.
You're awesome. Thank you, brother. I'm a mirror right back at you, my brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for that ad. Second word. Fighting.
Conor McGregor.
Right on. Right on. Digging it. Third word. Family.
Important.
Final word, which is more a region. Stockton.
California, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 153 of the Subjective Perspective Show, guest featuring Adam Avitia. Adam, I know you have reservations and we've had you on for way long. I'm going to bring you down to a close, but is there anything that you want to leave the audience with?
Totally.
Any
Yeah.
last minute words, brother?
Definitely first, subscribe and tune in to Nick at the Subjective Perspective. This was awesome. That was the quickest 2.5 hours ever. Family, you're freaking great. Love you guys. Thanks for the support always. Anybody who's like we mentioned earlier, maybe going through a hard time or something, keep your head up, man. It's just a lot of the times right now too. Keep your head up, keep going, read some books. Like I said, go talk to your neighbor, get outside more than anything, get in the sun, man. And I hope everybody has a freaking great weekend and does great things in life, has a great Halloween and is safe.
Adam, I just want to say, take his advice, ladies and gentlemen, because he's living a life that is truly transformative.
You can do whatever you want.
I am
you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want.
I'm so inspired by you, brother. Listen, I'm going to sign off. We're going to go into a commercial break. I'm going to let you sign out right now. Thank Madison for letting us borrow you again, please. I apologize. Totally. We've had you on for so long.
No, Adam, I appreciate it.
We will talk and we'll connect via Instagrams and all that, all the messaging. I'm going to pop all this up, and this will be up on Spotify and all the good stuff in about 2.5 hours once I download everything.
I'll share it everywhere. I'll
send you everything, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 153.
153.
The one and only, the greatest fighter coming out of the Central Valley of California, if we call it Central Valley. I know we have the Diaz brothers. We have a lot of great ones.
Oh, yeah.
The new generation really making Stockton proud. Adam Avitia. Adam, enjoy that evening and enjoy that weekend, brother. Happy Halloween to you and the missus and the family. Ciao for now. Sending our love, brother.
Halloween, man.
What a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Avitia. We're going to go into our commercial break. Give you a couple tunes I think you may enjoy. Without any further ado, enjoy your Halloween and enjoy these tunes.